Greetings and welcome to Winning Saturday Night. How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you're all out there doing and living well. And bang! All right, sliding sideways here. I hope everybody out there is doing good. Let me thank all of you YouTube members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, keeping us rolling here day in and day out, week in, week out, year in, year out. All you guys are what makes it happen. And thank you also to Shelly and Wolfram who support the channel over on Rumble and X. And of course, we are broadcasting live on Rumble, X, and YouTube. And yep, you're not you're not mistaken. I did release a video today, a very long replay video of last Tuesday because or was it last Thursday? Yeah, last Thursday, because that video got blocked and I had to take the Art of the Surge out of it. First time it's ever happened. So kind of a surprise there.
Yeah.
Yep. But it is what it is. And I figured I didn't have 30 days to wait until the appeals and all that shit went through. I couldn't cut it out because I already had one appeal going through for something else, and that appeal hadn't been checked off yet. So it blocks you from doing anything else, including cutting it out. I would have just cut it out probably originally and then been like, okay, just go to Rumble and X to watch it. So that's the way it goes. So I decided to cut it up and put it back out today, and that's what I did. There's a lot of important information in there coming up to the election. I want to make sure that it's out there. At least I did my part to try to let people know about all the things they should know coming up on this election. Oh man, oof. And I took a nap this afternoon and slept way too long because I just got up a little bit ago. And so, like I said, I'm sliding sideways here, but I wanted to make sure I put this show one off today because I got with us a special guest, monthly guest, Shelly, aka Talking Trash and Truce. Here she is.
Hi, guys.
Oh, and Wolf, thanks for dropping those links. Remember to listen to the Wolf. And thank you for repping that. And wipes his paws, lips in the house. And we will sit here and let everybody figure out that we're actually on the air tonight. So I didn't get the promos out till late. Let me see. Boom. All right. I feel like I've been like going 1,000 miles an hour for like a very short period of time.
I'm sitting here just trying to drop you links for stuff for you to talk about. There's a couple things. I sent you one about Dennis Quaid, and I sent you another about North Carolina, and they're trying to pass a constitutional amendment to their constitution.
For good news. I got plenty of stuff for that, and we're going to focus on the good news tonight.
Hell yeah, good news.
Yeah.
Trump actually is at Coachella tonight.
Coachella. What's that mean?
So yeah, he started like an hour ago, I think. I don't know if he made it way up there yet, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Also, that Kamala's Department of Justice is suing the state of Virginia because they removed illegal aliens from their voter rolls. And they're saying you're not allowed to do that within 90 days of the election.
Rig watch.
Well, I mean, they weren't there until within 90 days of the election. So, I mean, the hell. But I thought that was funny. I think that did you see the thing about Obama going out and telling dudes like, oh, my brothers that you need to step up and vote for Kamala or whatever. Like he came out and like they feel like he scolded them. Like he's trying to like dictate to them like, oh, if you black, if you a brother, you got to vote for Kamala. Y'all step up and like come out here. And they're all like, oh no, you are not telling me what to do, right? Like, who are you? You ain't my daddy. Usually it's the girls that's like, you're not my daddy. But now it's the guys that are like, whoa, like, wait, who are you? Who are you to tell me? And it seems they're quite upset about it. So that backfired, I believe, spectacularly. Yay. That always makes me happy. You know, that always makes me happy when things backfire on the libs. But yeah, apparently he doesn't have quite the power he had before. He's rubbing people the wrong way, which yay! By the way, thank you, Wolfram. I drove Wolfram crazy. I did. I was like, wait, that's not the right link, and I can't see his link, and because you hadn't released the YouTube side yet, and I was like, oh no, what if he's not doing YouTube? I was very upset, and I had him going crazy. So thank you again, Wolfram. Like I said, we very much appreciate everything that you do, because I know we do drive you a little crazy. It's always, hey, run and do this, and hey, can you do that? Can you throw this thing up? But you're always on it, on the links. I gotta say, we have the best mods around, and you, my wolf, never disappoint. So thank you for that. It's very nice to have somebody that we can rely on. Because as smart as Winning and I are, we're both a little flaky. We forget a lot of things. So he gets distracted, and I mean, to be fair, I have, degenerative brain disease, but for the most part, you're always there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Since he's off doing whatever, Wolfram said, almost as crazy as when I'm scratching the fleas. Of course, do you know that this house has been quiet all day? And the minute he said, okay, we're going live, everybody decided to come to my door and make noise. Everybody. First, my mother, because she absolutely had to deliver, toilet paper right now. And my son running back and forth and, hey, whatever, that I don't know what he's yelling about. Hey, Memento, what's up?
What's up, Memento? How you doing?
You think you just premiere tonight? Nah. No.
No. I just threw that out there because it was it got blocked, and I didn't want the other information to not in the video.
Lost.
There's get lost. The art of the search portion got blocked. That was the first time that they've ever blocked anything. So I guess they don't want that out there.
Well, I mean, that's for YouTube. So
yeah.
So that would, we're just saying.
But I mean, the thing is that content is no good after November 5th, right? Especially if you lose this, then nobody's going to want to watch it. So it's like that. I don't know if they realize that or not, but it's at least marketing. I get it though. I mean, I get it. I'm not arguing with the fact that it's theirs, but I mean, a lot of people aren't going to subscribe to this network, period. Most people, a lot of people can't afford it. And then there's like, then some people don't think that we'll use it. And then some people don't think that, it's worth it or whatever. So, there's going to be people that don't see it, but the information he puts out isn't like entertainment. It's like, it's important information, or it's important interviews, or it's something that people need to see, especially right now. It's like timely too. The border stuff's going to be very important. It is very important, but if the establishment gets back in, they're not going to do shit to fix it. Nothing we're going to do is going to change that. We only have a chance right now. So you want to get that out now. And so I would like to think that was just a business decision and not like, maybe just an oversight.
Targeted.
Well, no. Why would I be? I'm nobody. But they have to. I mean, that they're start thinking, wow, we really should get this out. It needs to get to people. I know we want to make money on it. I know we put money into it, but it needs to get out to people. And we need to get people out to vote and inspire them to vote and inspire them to make sure they show up, and all that stuff. There's a lot of people that will say they're going to vote and then not vote day of for whatever reasons. They won't. So they got to think. Hopefully they're thinking like that and not like, well, we paid for it, so we want the money back. Well, you're going to get the money back from all the people that are subscribed to you. I guarantee that. But who knows? Some people may see it and be like, man, I'm really missing something. I'm missing out on something. over there. I need to go ahead and get that subscription. So we'll see. But anyways, that's the way it is, and so I did it. I'm still what I'll do is I'll move that to the back of the show when I do them, and then we'll just jump toward the end of the show. So you'll hang on to the end and do
Sounds
it.
like a plan.
Under the stand, I'll still show it, but it's going to be probably a Rumble exclusive just to be safe. I don't want to have to like redo videos. So that's the way it is. I mean, I can probably show it on both, get blocked again, and then cut it out, and then.
Now, do you get like a strike for that, or they just tell you, No.
You only get a strike if you violate community guidelines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get a claim, and in this case, it was a claim with a block on it. Sometimes it's a claim, and they just take your automation, they take the money for the video. Some people share it. Like Kiffness will share revenue with you. So it gets a claim, but it's a share claim, right? And then the other ones are like, red $sign, and they take everything for like 30 seconds of, 10 seconds of something, 10 to 30 seconds of something. You're like, whatever, get the hell out of here. And then if it's really serious, they'll claim it and block it. And like WWE will block and claim everything that's over a certain amount of time. Anything from the crowd, especially. They're weird about that. They don't, no way, just us. But let's see. No, good news.
I'm very distracted because apparently Connor was taking a shower, and when he finished, he turned off the water and the knob came off in his hand and he couldn't shut it off. I'll be right back.
Oh, all right. Have fun with that. How's it going out there? Cool gamer. What's up? How you doing, man? How you doing? I'm trying to. I slept till like 8:30. I had the weirdest freaking dream, man. I mean, I literally I went to go lay down at like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 or something. I was like, I'm going to take a quick, like my patented quick, like 1 hour and a half nap, right? I set the alarm and it went off at 7:30, but I just turned it off. And I was like, okay, I'm going to lay here and get up. And all of a sudden it was 8:30 and I woke up. But I was in a crazy, active, surreal, lucid kind of dream, man. It was nuts. It was really nuts. It had to do with like this like, it was
Sorry about that.
It was like a big shop. There's outdoor shopping malls where they have like grocery store, and a bunch of stores and around it, and a big parking lot and all that stuff. And it kind of goes in
like a strip mall.
Strip mall, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm still trying to wake up. Yeah.
But and I said hi to Cool Gamer. Sorry.
Yes, you did. Hey, Jacob, what's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's
by Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of Warvan, I shall avenge you.
All right, a special intro, dude. There you
go. That's hilarious.
My Grandpa's hammer, sons of Warlock. I don't know what he says. I have to memorize it. I will avenge you, Jacob. Well, that was funny.
I will avenge you.
The
disclaimer: the no marks on the shower knob are not mine. Yeah, no, I know. They fixed it. It was a lot of noise outside my door.
All right. Cool. All right.
Sorry, go ahead. We're very disjointed tonight.
But anyways, it was starting out as I don't know what it started out as, but it ended up in like this almost like enclosed mall, and it was like a bunch of like small aisles that went up and down around, and it was just packed full of people. And I don't. It was weird that it was like they had food vending outside, and it was just a bunch of food sitting outside. I think I'm hungry. I was dreaming about eating it. Yeah, but I could never find the front of the line to get any food. Like I could never find like where it was, but I would manage to grab some stuff as I was just standing around and eat it. And then suddenly it was like everybody was waiting around for something, and like it was some kind of weird concert or something or talk going on. It was like all these red umbrellas and tents went up, and it was like turning like this like weird satanic kind of weird gathering stuff, and it was like strange.
Oh my goodness.
but it wasn't like it was like normal people mixed in with people that were into it, and I think it was kind of like some kind of mix of like weird, like I don't know. It was a mix of like weird. I don't know. It was strange, but I don't know. I was just there to kind of like spy on it and see what it was about, and all kinds of weird things were happening around it. But it was really vivid, and the longer I'm awake, the more that I'm not forgetting about it. But anyways, so yeah, it was a very intense dream.
What
And,
the hell did you eat before you went to bed?
Nothing. That's why I was dreaming about food.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. That's weird.
I ain't got enough stuff for tonight. That's what it is.
I thought it was funny. You woke up and you were like, I had a really intense dream. Okay.
No, but see, I woke up with my alarm and I went right back into the dream, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
It was just like it was on pause. You know, it paused while the alarm was going off. And I switched it off and right back into it.
That never happens with good dreams for me. It only happens with nightmares. Like I can't escape the nightmare. I could wake up 2-3 times and still go back to sleep and go right back into the same nightmare. And I'm like, damn it. That's why I'm like, I had a nightmare, so I just got up. Because it's like, what's the point? I'm just going to wind up just having the dream over and over. I'm not going to sleep well.
So I put the premiere out before the show tonight, thinking it would be a good idea, and I can redirect anybody who may have popped into the premiere over to here, which it was supposed to do. I don't know if it did it or not. It was supposed to.
Hi, Kim.
But evidently, I might have fooled people into thinking that was the show tonight, so that might have backfired greatly. So we're gonna walk in. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Kim's Creations, y'all. And we'll walk into good news here. We'll take some time getting there. Let's talk about weird shit and try to wake up. I used to dream about women I used to know.
Yeah, me too.
I was trying to remember if there was anybody in it. There's so many different little parts to it.
Everybody had a role. All strangers. Maybe you're thinking about giving employment to the masses. Like everybody can star in my little movie.
I remember up front, it was like there were all kinds of people out there talking about the election at the grocery store and debating each other, and not like a mob or anything, just like individuals here and there. And then it started growing. It started as a very sparse, individual kind of dream, and then it turned into this big, massive crowd. And
maybe it was strange. Satanic. Maybe the red was like you're evolving, like how MAGA evolved.
No, it definitely was not MAGA. It was like
he's like, no, it was demons.
No, it wasn't demons either. It was people that practiced it, like a cult. It was more culty.
I know. I was kidding, but apparently your sense of humor has not woken up yet.
Nope.
Well, kick it in the ass because I can't do this by myself.
Well, that's why I'm talking, but I'm struggling to try to remember the details and like, oh yeah, this and that and that and that. I remember one part there was this I'm trying to say, well, can I talk about that? Like it might come across because it's a dream, but you never know. Like some people just come in and they like, is that real? I'm like, that's really crazy.
Disclaimer, right? This is a dream he's talking about.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know.
On it.
I had no idea. I don't even know how if that video did anything at all. But I just pointed out there for the record. It was more like that. I know everybody here had already seen it, so I don't know how much participation it got. But it was like
it seemed like it had a bit.
It's like 26 people. So there you go. Maybe it was 26 people that hadn't seen it before. But I mean, when it gets blocked too, it's kind of like it's not getting any more views, and it's getting out to people. So I
don't know. I've had new people leaving me comments. I don't know if they're just genuine new people or sock accounts for people who just want to screw with me. But they're always negative comments. And I'm like, you know what? You can all go scratch. Like, I really don't care. I don't know who you are. If you don't like my content, then there's tons of other people out there. Go ahead and have fun. Like, you're not beholden to come visit me. Like, I don't even know who you are. You just like stumbled upon me and said, oh, I'm going to listen to 4 hours of her stream and then have something negative to say. Really?
Thanks, Memento.
Really? You watched all 4 hours, but now you have something negative to say. It's like, oh, okay. I told you somebody put like all Z's the other day. I was like, I'm glad you got some rest. I'm not going to sit here and get upset over you. Like, good for you. I'm glad I could help you with that. Memento, I watched it again to give some views and watch the ad. Aw, you're so sweet. Are you feeling better, Memento? You seem like you're better. You're more memento-ish. You're more momentito. Kimmy said, I don't have dreams and nightmares very often, but boy, I eat Chinese food Wednesday, and they were terrible. Yeah, Chinese food can do it to you. I don't know if it's the MSG or whatever they put in it, but yeah, I can have some funky dreams after eating Chinese food. I don't know. All my dreams, everything is out of control. Like I can't run. Like my feet are stuck to the floor, or I keep tripping over my own feet, or I'm driving a car that the power steering doesn't work and like I can't navigate where I'm going, or the brake doesn't work, or the gas is stuck, and it's like, what the hell? I hate those. But the worst ones are definitely the ones where you lose teeth. Because I literally wake up and grab my mouth and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just like, yeah, no, they're all in there. Those are terrifying. Have you ever had one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the input. Thank you for the feedback. But yeah, no, those are the worst for me. Those are terrifying to me. Connor had one once. He woke up, he was screaming. He was like maybe 6, screaming, Mommy, I lost all my teeth. I was like, oh my God, what? And he was like, I lost my teeth. Look. And he had all his teeth. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, in my dream. I was like, next time open with that. I was like, next time say I had a nightmare where I lost all my teeth. He was like, but I thought I lost all my teeth in real life. I was like, oh, I felt terrible. But they say you're afraid of losing somebody if you have a loose tooth dream. Or that you're afraid of things getting out of control like that, like really out of control in your life. Memento, yeah, I'm a lot better, only a little cough now. Awesome. Well, hopefully you stay on that track. Rapid's been coming around a lot more. She's been a little under the weather still from the respiratory illness that she had like 6 months ago. It's still affecting her, which is crazy because winter's right around the corner. Tomorrow's going to be 76 in lovely central Pennsylvania, or wherever the hell I'm at. And then Monday, high of 42. I was like, oh, get out of here. All week long, high of 40, high of 42. I was like, see, how you can take me from 80 to 40 in about 12 hours? Hey, Indy, how you doing? I watched
Indy, how
a
you
bit
doing?
of your
Welcome.
show last night. That was awesome. God.
How you guys doing? I said hello. I'm still getting things back. I'm like, oh, we got it here.
I sent you a couple things in private chat. Not many, but a couple. Because I sent you tons of stuff yesterday. What you call it? My mom went on a hike. Okay, so I say hike. She took her scooter, whatever. She took the trail that goes behind my house, and it goes for like miles and miles. So she went with her husband. She took her scooter. He walked. And she gets about 4 miles down the trail because they've been going for a while, and that was it. Her battery died. So she was like, what do I do now? He was like, ugh, just stay here. I'll go back. I'll get the car. I'll bring the car over here. We'll put the scooter in the back of the car because she's got that handicap, motor scooter, whatever, with the little. She's got a little headlight on the front, no tail lights. So if they're behind her, she's screwed. But she's got the headlight, whatever. So her battery went dead, and he said he'll go get the car. So he goes to get the car. While she's waiting, she was like, "Oh my God, there were kittens. There were so many kittens." I was like, "Really?" And you came home empty-handed. And she was like, "There were kittens. There were little black and white kittens." And she took pictures. And I was like, "Why didn't you take kittens?" And she was like, "No, they're outdoor cats. They're feral." I was like, "See, that would not affect me in the slightest that they're feral. I just bring them right in the house, give them a nice big bath. That's it." And she said, "But I saw
She's
so
bathing a
many on
feral
the trail."
cat. They're asking for
Huh?
trouble. Bathing a
Uh-uh.
feral cat. Oh my God, dude.
I was the
Oof.
beast master when I worked for the vet. Animals don't react badly to me. They're very good for me. And I'm not afraid of them. So I used to hate when the techs would come in and they'd be like, "Oh my God, the cat hissed. I don't want to touch it." What? Like, believe me, that cat is not going to sit there for a blood draw and just be like, "Oh yeah, here's my paw." You got to make it. Like, where's your nerve? But I was very upset because they were so cute especially the black and white tuxedo one that she took a picture of. It was tiny, but it had this beautiful diamond almost pattern, this big diamond pattern on the back of its head and going down like toward its tail. Oh, it was so cute. It was like all black, and then it had the white splotches. Usually you see them more even. This one was really unique. I got to see if she'll send me that picture. She's a little greedy with her pictures. I'll swipe her phone later and send it to myself. Were they black cats with a white stripe down their back? No, because then I wouldn't have let her in the house. Do you think I wouldn't lock her out of the house if she smelled like that? Oh, hell no. There was a skunk outside the other day because I was walking through the living room and I said, skunk. And she was like, "Where?" I was like, "Somewhere outside." I said, "But it's sprayed. You don't smell that?" She's like, "I don't smell anything." I was like, I was like, "You better get some Vicks or something." How do you not smell skunk? I mean, really, it's not like it's a smell that just blends into anything else. It's very distinctive. But today was a big day apparently for hunting because I'm sitting here and I hear like all the shots going off. And I was like, "Oh, I don't live in Hoboken anymore. They're just shooting deer. It's fine. It's fine." And they were in the woods, like behind, not behind my house, in front of my house. And apparently they were scaring the hell out of the deer because they were coming this way. So I got to see quite a few deer today. They were running out of the woods and across my property and into the other woods on the other side of the house. So I was like, "Oh, all right." I was like, "I hope I'm not in anybody's crosshairs out here." But there were quite a few. They're really, really big deer here. They're whitetails, but like the does are huge. I was like, "Oh my God, I haven't seen a buck yet." I definitely haven't seen like a full antlered deer, but I can't imagine how big the males are if the females are this friggin' big. But my mother's husband finally went and got his license. Um, so he's all set and he got his bow license. He prepaid for his shotgun license. And because you got to get all different kind. I was like, why? Why do they make it so difficult? They just give you like, "Okay, here you go. Dude, check this box, check this box, but that's how much you owe me." Weird. Kimmy said, "When I was young, I was terrified of skunks. Literally, I still don't like them, but I'm not scared of them now." I mean, I think they're cute in cartoons. And I like seeing pictures of them and I like seeing videos of them chasing people. But as far as them coming around my house, nah, I'm good. I'll pass. I'm terrified of possums. I'm not afraid of skunks. I'm afraid of possums. Just because they do the whole hissing thing and they just look like they hate you on sight. And it's sad because I love animals. I would love to be like, "Oh, look, it's a possum," and like make friends. And I know they might have rabies or whatever, so don't pet the possum, Shelly. But still, I mean, I have tons of cats here, There's like 2 squirrels in my entire county. Apparently, they're just, I don't know what's eating them, but well, maybe the eagles and hawks. We got a lot of those.
Probably coyotes. I don't know.
Yep, a lot of those. Well, they don't get the chipmunks. We have a lot of chipmunks. So I figure those are too little and they're too fast. Hey, nerd. They're
what's
too
up?
little and they're too fast to get caught. But the squirrels, they're ballsy little things and they get distracted.
Let's see.
But we have those my mother calls them eagles. I think they're hawks. They don't look like eagles to me, but they live in like a copse of trees across the street from me. So they're always flying overhead. So at least twice a day, I see these things just like going back and forth. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, dear God, just don't let me see them catch anything. Please,
So
I
just
don't
a
think I can handle
reminder.
it.
Oh, actually, a little information. I'm going to play. I don't know if you guys remember, but I've been finding my old songs that I've written way back in the day and making them new again. And so I'm going to play a few more new ones here at the end of the night of the show. So just a FYI, stick around for that.
Very cool.
You may have noticed one of them if you watch the Rumble trailer. I don't know how many people watch the Rumble trailer because it's been the same one forever. But I switched the song up for that, and I'll play that I'll play that at the start of the segment, which will be at the end after funny videos as we're kind of cooling down and getting ready to head out. So with that in mind, we probably should go ahead and get on started. I'm going to start out tonight with an interview about a new movie, like movie theater movie coming out that is about all the good things, all the things people don't know. It's called The Man You Don't Know about Trump. And I figured that would be a good way to start off the evening here.
Cool.
Let me make sure winning speed here. All right. And before I do that, I think that's good news, right? Does that count? I think that counts. That counts as good news for sure. So let me why not? Let's do it. So let's go ahead and start that segment right now.
Good news, yeah, we're here to spread the word, bringing joy and love to each and every nerve. Positive vibes, that's what we're all about. Gonna lift you up when you're feeling down. Every day we're gonna make it bright. Good news coming your way. You're gonna smile no matter the day. Good news, turning it around in this crazy world. It's the good news of the week. Oh.
All right, good news in the house. Okay, I got you. All right, so new Trump movie coming out. This guy is the guy's interviewing is making. He's a focused individual. That's all I can say. So let's listen.
Just a month before the 2024 election, a new documentary is promising to reveal a side of Donald Trump that America has never seen before. And we've got the man behind it all in our studio remotely. Joshua Macchiello, the head of Global Ascension Studios, is the driving force behind The Man You Don't Know, a film that's already creating buzz for its unprecedented access to Trump's inner circle. We're talking intimate interviews with Trump's children, commentary from celebrities like Hulk Hogan and Frank Stallone, and stories that have never been shared before with the public. But this is not just another Trump documentary. Joshua and his team are on a mission to cut through the noise, the tweets, and the headlines to show the man behind the public persona in a political landscape more divided than ever. Can this film change the conversation about one of the most controversial figures in American history? Well, tonight we'll get an exclusive look behind the scenes of this ambitious project. What challenges did Joshua face in telling this story? What surprised him during the filming process most? And with the election just around the corner, what impact does he think this documentary can have on the race for the White House. So whether you're a Trump supporter, a critic, or just a lover of powerful storytelling, this is one interview you do not want to miss. So get ready for a conversation that could change the way you think about Donald Trump, documentary filmmaking, and the power of untold stories. Joshua Machello, welcome to the show. Pardon me.
Thank you so much, Machello. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Joshua, so what inspired you to take on a project as potentially controversial as this Donald Trump documentary at this moment in time?
Well, our studio was founded right at the beginning of COVID, and we did that because we didn't like the kind of movies and TV shows that were being fed to our children. So, we didn't like the woke agenda. We didn't like creativity from the artists that are creating things, being told they have to use these kind of actors and this many of this and this many of that. So we created our own studio to give creativity back to the creatives. And in that process, we went through COVID and we started to really unravel in what was going on in the world. And, President Trump has been an amazing human being. So we decided we're not documentary makers. My partner, Arthur Sarkeesian, made every Rush Hour, While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock, Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. So, we do feature films and that's our end game, but we need to right a wrong. And our first film we did was called The Relentless Patriot, about Scott Lebedo. We were able to get it into theaters. And that was our test, if you could, because Scott, if you don't know him, he's a relentless patriot. I mean, he's fighting for our rights out there while being one of the best artists that you'll see. And we were able to get it into theaters as a conservative company and a conservative topic, which Scott is. We then parlayed that into going to Mar-a-Lago, premiering the movie there, meeting President Trump. And my end game was always to walk out of there with getting the ability to do a movie about his life, about the sides of him that nobody knows. And, media has been feeding folks constantly on what they want you to believe he is rather than who he really is.
Now, there's a film that was just released. It's very controversial. In fact, I believe one of the advertisements for it was just rejected because it was so controversial. A feature film about Donald Trump's life. Have you heard about that film? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know which film you're talking about. I'm a focused person. I don't pay attention to anything else that's going on, any other noise in the world. We basically worked with the Trump family, hands-on, all of them. They're a part of this. They're a piece of this movie.
T-Rex, what's up?
So for me, there's a lot of other things going on in the world that, quite frankly, is not in my radar. And my focus is to make sure that this film gets out. It's coming out October 25th in theaters everywhere. I could care less about any other projects that are being made.
I definitely respect that. I know how that feels. Just keep your head down and focus on the job at hand. Now, the film is called The Man You Don't Know. What aspects of Trump's life or character you think will surprise viewers the most?
Before he came down that escalator, a lot of people, he was beloved, and a lot of people put him in rap songs and movies and films. And the one thing that you used to be able to find a lot more stories online about him was his philanthropic ways, his generosity towards those
there's a lot
in
of
need.
stories out there about
You get a deep insight.
Oh yeah.
Man changed people's lives, that these people were
We saw
they were
him
lost
with the little boy.
and they were on a
did
very
for
big
him.
downswing, and Donald Trump stepped in and put oxygen in their lungs and gave them a chance. I mean, literally, some people were physically dying, and he stepped up and put his money where his mouth was and helped them get treatment. And 10, 15 years later, they're still alive and thriving. So you're going to hear a lot of stories like that, people losing their homes, their lives.
His right to try.
A farm that's a family owned from the 1800s, how he stepped in and affected their lives. So there's a lot of stories like that really are going to educate folks on this person that the media created as a demonic monster, is really a good man deep at heart.
Now we're going to watch the trailer. You want to set it up for us?
Right. And then it will, here you go. Here comes the trailer. Yeah. And people that are under the mind control of the establishment narrative will still watch it and be like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to, listen, this movie is amazing. You're going to see the impact of who Donald Trump is in 2 minutes.
All right, let's roll it, Brian, and we'll come back with more questions.
Okay.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans representing extremism.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
The greatest threat the world faces.
It's destructive to our democracy to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. He has to be eliminated.
But he is a misogynist, homophobic, racist.
Eliminated.
Someone's on top of the roof. Look.
You want me to tell you something about Donald Trump that the media doesn't know? How about this? He's a wonderful human being.
Articles, and it's a side that a lot of America does see, and a side that the media doesn't want you to see.
This is a guy running for president. He had no place else he would rather be than right there with his granddaughter in her pre-K class.
He's a very generous, honest, nice guy.
He's done a lot of incredible things for a lot of people, but he's not willing to take credit for it.
My only child, he was hit head-on by an illegal alien with 2 felony convictions, and I started becoming suicidal. As I was telling him about losing my best friend, I could see him tear up. Donald Trump didn't just save my life. He helped me share my Dominic. He is actually very relatable.
Hello, everybody.
When you break him down, he's actually just a regular guy. He's a great athlete, loves to watch sports.
He's a really good golfer. He's crushing hot dogs on the course.
What's your specialty?
All-American type person. He loves good casual food.
He just like his chocolate bars.
The deals we have with other countries are unbelievably bad.
He can't stand to see things not done the right way.
You should be rewarded for competence and capability in doing a job.
When you look at what he's gone through, them trying to break him, trying to kill him, he's still out there fighting.
This guy has been tested in every possible way. It's inspiring.
I'll call him on the phone as a friend and be like, hey, you good? How you doing? Unfazed.
He threatens this entire system of the corruption that is the U.S. government.
With all of these forces coming against him, not for a moment did he ever show that insecurity or fear that someone might feel when they don't know what's going to happen to them tomorrow. And that is who Donald Trump is.
Cool.
Love it.
Looks good, doesn't it? I can't wait to watch it. And he, actually, let's watch a little bit more of this. It does go on for a bit, but he has some great stories here. I forgot about.
Oh man, that was awesome.
We gotta give him
that
props.
was awesome.
Pretty powerful.
Oh wow.
Thank you.
You know, I'm getting chills like just watching that, and I'm you know, I'm thinking about the production process, right? And I'm thinking, because you know, I do news and I do editing and I understand the flow and I'm scripting and stuff, and I'm going, okay, first of all, how long was this in production for? And with respect to like the assassination attempt, I mean, were you guys already in production and then this thing happens and then just throws you guys for a loop, or how did this whole thing come about?
So that's a great question. We started so late in production that we're being checked by the Guinness Book for the quickest writing, shooting, editing, and then going to theatrical is 2 months.
2 months?
Yes.
Wow.
And you being in the business, you know, a lot of folks who actually are in the business and understand that that's almost impossible. But I got to give credit. I got to give credit. My director, first of all, Arthur Sarkeesian is a legend. He's got billions of dollars in box office. Christopher Martini, who directed the last movie, The Relentless Patriot, directed this one with us. You know, I got to give shout outs to Frank Torcha, who moved mountains for us. Chad Campbell, Michael Gianantonio, Dave Wilson, you know, and our PR team. You know, they all, you know, kept us, you know, in the news as we were making this. Ophelia Somig, Nicole Macchiello, Peter Abrahami, and all these folks were integral parts with Arthur Sarkeesian and I to really and our lending, you know, our arm, our financial arm. You know, there's a gentleman named Jazz Mather who from Limitless stepped up and made sure we had anything we need. You know, so I'm very, very thankful. CeCe Wakanin, Hi Wakanin, all these folks came in and they made sure that in that small period of time now,
hey Heidi,
discussions for a while. And when you're doing a movie with a family like the Trump family, you know, they're trying to win an election. While we are trying to make a movie to help them do that, their main focus is winning an election. So to get them locked in and sit down, we couldn't do anything until the family was ready. We didn't start filming the family until August 21st.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the logistics alone of all those high-profile people in the middle of an election cycle, in the last 90 days of an election. I mean, how did you convince them to jump on board? I mean, obviously, you were at Mar-a-Lago. You met the president previously, so there was already some connections there. But, I mean, just to get it all to mesh, I mean, how did you pull that off?
Listen, Lynn Patton, who's Trump's senior advisor, and Siggy Flicker are two amazing human beings that helped us tremendously to be put in a position to succeed. And we basically, you know, look, we had to put a pitch together. You know, they're pitched a lot. And like you said, there's other films, you know, I may not have seen or really dived into them, but we knew Dinesh had something that was being done. We know Tucker was working on something.
Oh no, the film I'm talking about is a cinematic film, and it was just at the film festival in Cannes.
Oh, you're talking about The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, yeah, that nasty film. That's
Yeah,
what I was talking about.
that's a bash. That's a bash piece. They're gonna. That's coming out this coming Friday, and their goal is to bash him. And look, everybody has. We live in an amazing country, the United States, where you know the First Amendment. You have your right to make and create as you wish. And I support the First Amendment. I always tell people, I'm a guy that I've been bashed by the media. I've always been an entrepreneur. I tried to buy the Dodgers with a group of people in 2012, and when I started to say I'm a blue-blooded American and I bleed red, white, and blue, the media turned on me. Ironically, wow, crazy. Who would have thought that? It's almost like saying "Make America Great Again" is a bad thing. But I know how quickly things and people can turn on you. So to get back to your initial question, we put together a very solid synopsis storyline because everybody wanted to talk about January 6th. Everybody wanted to talk about what happened in the election in 2020. Everybody wanted to talk about all these different topics. And we said, you know what everybody's missing? Who this man really is. Yeah. I mean, I talked to so many people since March, since I was blessed to hang around him for 4 days. And everybody's like, hey, man, this guy's hard. You don't know his heart. You don't know his heart. And I'm starting to see the theme there of, hey, and then I've talked to other folks that were going to do productions about him and basically, started to tell them my ideas. And we were going to collaborate, but they weren't in alignment with us and what our real ideas were. They didn't have, all the facts as we did. And we just said, you know what, screw it. We're going to pitch it to the family and we're going to see what they say. And luckily they said, you know what, we love everything about you guys. And from what I understand from the trailer and what they saw, they're really, really happy with what we did.
Oh, it looks amazing. And you've got Hulk Hogan, Dana White, Frank Stallone.
I made Hulk Hogan cry. Just I want to say this. Hulk's going to be pissed at me.
Oh, boy.
I made him cry twice talking about the assassination attempt. And you're going to see that in the movie because I'll tell you, Frank Stallone and Hulk Hogan, while we have all these other amazing people you were naming, we have Kyle Forgard from the Nelk Boys in it. He does an amazing job. Amber Rose is phenomenal. She has such huge moments being a person who was on the other side. And then, her dad told her, hey, do some homework on this family and this man. And she's glad she did. But Hulk Hogan and Frank Stallone, they steal the show. I mean, these are guys that have known President Trump for over 30 years. And, they really steal the show. Look, I know this is my studio's movie. It's my movie. And this sounds like something that everybody says. This is probably the greatest documentary I've ever seen. And nice. I give my team all the credit. Yes, I came up with the idea. I came up with the storyline. I came up with the questions for the.
We'll stop it there, and I'm going to move on because it's a long interview. But if you want to watch the rest of it, Next News Network, it's on there. All right. We got next coming up here. Hope you guys will check that movie out. Make it bang at the box office. So one of the common themes this evening is going to be people coming around the Trump right in time. And when you imagine the people that are on his side now, that are all the people that are coming around, it's astounding. And again, we talked about 2020 and how we know that was a rigged game, but but man, the support and the amount of people that now have had time to get a good look at what the corrupt establishment's all about and see the fruits of their labor and see the results of them being in charge compared to Trump. It's opened up all kinds of new doors and all kinds of new people from all walks of life to join the cause to save our country, because this is what it's all about right now. So let's check this out.
Vogue magazine just put Kamala Harris on the cover in a desperate attempt to try to appeal to the only core demographic of voters that actually support her. Well, aside from gay men, divorced women, and younger, floozy, millennial, liberal women. But thankfully, there are still plenty of women who are immune to the liberal pathogen.
If you're a guy and you're voting for Kamala, you're low T. Maybe go get on some testosterone because your levels are showing. Oh, what's your favorite policy of hers? I'll wait. Meanwhile, there's a hurricane, and what the is she doing? She's going on a horror podcast talking about how there's no laws over men's bodies. Poor me, victim. I'm a woman and I'm a victim, and I don't get anything in the U.S. Go somewhere else then.
I'm sorry. I am so tired of the tens of thousands of just hard fours online being like, I'm voting for her because he's going to strip all of our rights away as a woman. I can do that as a mom and a da-da. What rights, babe? What rights? He was already president. And how many rights did you lose? 0. He's trying to protect women's rights. What do you think it is when we have men in women's sports? We have men in our in our personal spaces. What do you think it is when dangerous men come over the border? That's what protecting women and children is. Oh, he already said he's not going to do a nationwide abortion ban. He's not going to do it. If anything, it's going to be state by state the way it has been. And guess what? If a state, 90% of people in a state want something, I think that state should have it, even if I don't agree with it. If you don't like it, move to another state. It's very simple. Stop with the propaganda. This is why people make fun of women. Use your brain. Use your brain, babe.
That's correct. And this is the woman that the liberal media industrial complex is trying to gaslight the American people into believing is the most qualified candidate ever.
So when we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff. It's packed with some fundamental stuff.
It's packed with stuff. Brilliant.
I say rather articulately.
Yeah, that's so articulate.
If you don't vote for Donald Trump, and if you don't convince every single person that you know to get out and actually vote, or even mail in your ballot, for God's sakes, this woman may very well be the next president of the United States. But thankfully, the meme makers are bringing some much-needed levity to these stressful times, like this meme of her town hall event over on Univision to a non-English speaking audience, where they literally had to have a translator translate the audience questions from Spanish into English.
Hola, Kamala. Me and my amigos want to know una cosa. Will you go back to El Stripping after you lose to the greatest president of all time? Muchas gracias. Trump 2024. Arriba. And Delhi.
Claro que sí, amigos. Before yo soy vice president, I was a mucho good stripper. I never was mucho smart, but I was mucho good at El Stripping. So yes, after I lose to El President Trump, I will go back to El Stripping for El Dinero.
You know, this voice cloning technology may very well be a big problem in the future, but at least in the meantime, the meme makers are making some quality memes. Like this one from comedian Danny Polachuk.
Thanks for having me, Alex. It's really great to be here.
We are 1 month out from the election. My audience is basically just whores and gay guys. Why should they vote for you?
I think it's simple. Vote for me and you'll have the first hoe in chief. Or vote for Donald Trump and no more abortions.
I love that you just called yourself hoe in chief. My audience of girl boss whores really can relate to that.
Google my name and Willie Brown or Montel Williams. It's not an act.
It gets much more spicy than that. If you want to watch the rest of it, you'll have to go and watch it on Danny's Twitter account, because when he uploaded it to YouTube, they gave him a strike and censored it for bullying Kamala Harris. But this is not a
that's AI, and I marked
very
my video clearly.
Video that shows a slice of life that not many of us experience firsthand.
About to vote? Yeah. Who you voting for? Trump. Come on, bro. Harris does backwards, bro. What?
He's just trolling them.
Harris. Man, we not voting for that, man. We voted for Trump, man. Who you voting for, Trump or Kamala? Man, Trump. We ain't that Indian ass, man. Who, Kamala? Yeah, we ain't. Why you don't? Because she them immigrants. I'm black. So why you ride with Trump so much? Them Venezuelans taking all our bread. Hey, Trump or Kamala? Shit, Trump, to be honest. Why Trump, though? He used to keep immigrants out, so, you know, we was able for us to get jobs. It's hard for us to get jobs now because immigrants taking over.
And so this week, they brought out the big gun, Obama, to scold black men. The brothers, as he called them, for abandoning the Democrat Party and showing such a lackluster support for Kamala. And many joining the Trump train. Obama's admonishing tone to black men presents a risk for Democrats, says the New York Times. The former president's remarked that some black men are not feeling the idea of a female president were blunt and urgent, but also potentially alienating for a vital group of Democrat voters. But it's not just black Democrat men who aren't supporting the Democrat nominee this time around. A lot of men aren't supporting Kamala, straight men, normal men, because I'll just say it, the president is a man's job. Call me sexist, I don't care. This is one of the many things that you'll never hear a mainstream conservative political pundit or talk show host say because, while many of them think it, they're still too cowardly to openly admit the truth. So subscribe to my channel for new here, by the way, and check back on a regular basis. And in a desperate attempt to try to convince more men to vote for Kamala Harris, a Hollywood filmmaker took it upon himself to produce this ad, thinking that this would somehow help.
I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man, man. And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat. Man enough to cook my steak rare. Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair.
By the way, this is not a parody making fun of the soy boys, the supposed men who support Kamala Harris. This literally was produced by a Kamala Harris supporter thinking that this would help.
I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me. I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
And this ad is being so well received by the liberal lunatics that the Clown News Network decided to have the producer on to help promote it.
Joining me now is the man who created this video, director and writer Jacob Reed.
We made this, myself and a bunch of friends who care about the election and wanted to get involved for a couple $100. And I think what I'm learning is when you get a lot of industry professionals together.
When you get a lot of Hollywood industry professionals together to make a campaign and they make it woke beyond belief, and so stupid that you can't tell if it's a parody or not. Donald Trump sums up the situation that we're all facing perhaps better than anyone.
You see, that's the real threat to democracy, stupid people. That's the threat. Our biggest threat to democracy is stupid people.
I would add that it's not just stupid people. I would add that the stupid people aren't just the Democrat Party, the leadership, because some of them are actually fairly intelligent and quite cunning. It's actually the stupid people who vote for them. The stupid people who are going to vote for Kamala Harris. Thankfully, nobody around here is that stupid because I have the most intelligent and loyal audience of any YouTuber.
So do I, man. So do I. That's one thing that we definitely, that's another thing we have in common, Mark. That's another thing that we have in common. Yeah, a lot of this. This is the good news of the week is all about this theme we got going on tonight.
There you go.
It is. It is. I love it when I love it when it comes together like that. I do.
That's nice. You saw I put a huge group of links in the private chat, right?
I did.
But ladies and gentlemen, at some point,
oh,
when the pressure cooker gets too much pressure in it, it's gonna explode. At some point, when you start turning that butter, and they go, that butter done. You can only put so much pressure and do so much turning before black people start coming out and saying, look, enough is enough. I'm done playing games. And they going around, what is it, New York? They going around the city. I don't know if it's New York or not.
And you people
they going
should
around the
know
city and saying black people hating on immigrants. And then at the bottom, it says nonsense and worse from people who should know better. What?
Ooh.
What? I'm playing the video. What did you just say to black people?
He's getting
what
up.
You say to black people? We were not immigrants. We were enslaved and forced to come over here and work for free. Many of us. Most slaves. There's only a few slaves that got a chance to work and make money. Harriet Tubman was one of them. But we were forced to come over here. America wasn't what America is today. We made America good enough for them to come over here and want to have a good life. We made their life better. We gave them a paradise, assisted in giving them a paradise where they could come over here for free. They don't get beat. They wasn't on a ship. They wasn't getting raped. You name it. They wasn't doing railroad in the middle of the summer with no regulations, health insurance. I mean, they didn't have to fight to have guns, fight to vote. I'd have slapped one of y'all saying something stupid like this.
Ooh.
They didn't do nothing to afford to be compared to black people.
Adam's awesome.
We had Jim Crow. What? And y'all just come through a gate and get everything that black people work for all these years for free in 30 minutes. We had 300 years. Y'all got 30 minutes.
We're just
and
happy
y'all got
you're
everything
here,
black people should have had and work hard to get.
Happy you're here.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And I'm not really a black person. I love everybody equally. I believe in Jesus, and Jesus don't pick a color, somebody's skin color. But I tell you what, you ain't gonna do. Y'all ain't finna play. Same thing with the gay stuff and the immigrant stuff. There was no gay water fountains. People didn't be enslaved and be discriminated against and say you can't come in the cafe because you're gay. Nobody did that to the gay people. Didn't have to do that. Black people literally couldn't go into a certain store. My grandmother told me she had to drink from a separate water fountain, had to eat at a restaurant. They had to go around the back of the restaurant. Gay people didn't have to go through that to get rights and stuff like that. Black people fought for that stuff. And then y'all piggybacking off of black people. All right, come on, let Auntie cook. Come on, Auntie.
You don't hang no signs about black people hating on immigrants because black people ain't got no reason to hate on no immigrants.
Oh no, but the immigrants got
we everything y'all are in there, son. Let me tell you something. You get them signs down. Anytime that Alderman Lawson and Silverstein and what's that other?
C.J.
They sit up here and talk about how they should get a hate crime bill because swastika was in Ziploc bags in their community. They hung this in our community. We want it off the polls. We want that to be the beginning of a hate crime. And that organization, which is a white liberal organization, like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man.
That's right. And I wish more people had listened to him. But hey, man, I'm glad they're listening to him now, at least when it comes to that part.
Come on, sister.
He did call it out.
Acting like y'all representing some social justice.
Say that,
but all along, all you're doing is trying to use black people to find a reason to make some money. Let me tell y'all something over there. We're done. The Democratic Party is done. You ain't gonna mess with us like
y'all gonna abuse us.
This is good news, man.
They get to abuse the black American.
Come in here and go clean it up. I'm telling you, You leave the Democratic Party. Do just like RFK Jr., just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself, save your families, save your dignity, save your jobs, and save your seats. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats. We ain't taking this no more. We ain't taking no blood from a bunch of people who have broken into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely broke the country, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace.
Fired up.
Oh my God, what a solution. You give us a fake, black, cackling hand of a candidate with a white president that's talking about he want to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. The number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about a Kamala Harris that look like she can protect this country after y'all decided and they get it overridden with a bunch of illegal immigrants. Y'all decided up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars. And you telling me a tampon man that ran from duty don't even know what his rule was. Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country? The devil is a lie. Y'all better keep some signs down. Yeah, I know that.
Get your shoe, Auntie.
I know that.
Get that fly swat out of there.
Yep.
Y'all better get them signs
She
down.
gotta throw her chocolate.
This is a hate crime. If you ask me, this is a hate crime. You are pigeonholing every black person based on race to say that they hate immigrants. This shouldn't be up in the city. Now, if you put Jews hate immigrants, they'd be. If you put gays hate immigrants, they'd be turning that stuff down. People be going to jail. FBI investigation. But in that city with them Democrats, if you don't line up with what they want to do, because their new agenda is this, they get rid of that to get to this. I put my life on it. Black people are worth nothing to them anymore. They didn't ran y'all dry for over 100 years. Y'all mean nothing to them. The new sheriff in town is these illegals. Black people are now the minority. They used to be the majority minority. Now black people are the minority. The Mexicans and illegal aliens are coming in this country, and they're going to be worth more for political pundits than black people. Because y'all going to Planned Parenthood every other weekend. Y'all not marrying your baby daddies. Y'all not having kids and building a population. Our young boys are shooting each other and thugging and killing and going to prison, or either dead or in prison, or they caught up in the Democrat Party.
Thanks to the establishment.
These people ain't doing that.
Or they're still
and so
on
where they
trial
coming?
in
They got to go for
Fulton
these
County.
immigrants. They let like 11 million people in this country, allegedly. 11 million people, whoever do them right, they may go vote for them. You talking about 11 million new votes? That can swing an election easy in one direction for the next several generations. Who's going to be on the right side of illegal aliens and Mexicans is who going to run the country in the future. Black people, they done with y'all. You either going to die on that ship with them Democrats, or you going to get off that ship and go to the Republican Party where you maybe, just maybe, you'll be valued. I'm just putting it out there, man. Y'all can believe me if you want to. They was out there speaking Spanish the last presidential debate. Dumugado, ando. I'm like, they don't even know how to speak Spanish when they don't have a Spanish accent. They don't even care. They're shameless. And you know they pandering because Telemundo is in Spanish anyway. So anybody that speaks Spanish will watch it on Telemundo. And if you don't know, if you're not watching on Telemundo and you only know Spanish, they spoke Spanish for 3 words, 2 sentences, and the rest of them, they don't know what they're talking about. Come on, bro. Y'all can't be this silly. Auntie, thank you for cooking them, Auntie. Thank you for cooking them. It's finally time for us to start getting radical and standing up and saying what we have to say legally. This is legal First Amendment speech. She can go before that council. She have enough time. She say whatever she want to say. As long as she ain't threatening nobody, that's good. We need more people standing up and saying this because these people are trying to place the top line with this line. I put that on my life. Anyway, I'll see y'all on the next one. Get you one of these hats. I'm out.
She's the auntie that carries the belt in her hand when she walks with you.
Tatum,
she will whack you on your ass.
Yeah, man. That's great news. Like I said, man, with all this time to cook, you know, over the course of the last 4 years, this is what it's gotten to. And it's blessings in disguise. But man, people are waking up like never before. I've been doing this a long time, and I've never seen this velocity of people waking up to what's going on. The real facts of the matter, really understanding what it's all about.
You have people that are now realizing that, listen, this is not a left versus right thing anymore, okay? This is not a Democrat versus Republican thing anymore. This is establishment versus anti-establishment.
And the key truth is this: Kamala Harris is the establishment. Kamala Harris is the ultimate DC insider. Kamala Harris is the swamp.
And if you're awake to this, aware of it, and resisting it actively, you are part of the anti-establishment. That's what this is all about. This is what I've been saying since day one. I was reading some stuff that I found from 2012. Turning Guns, what's up? How you doing? Lots of truth bombs. Yes, it is indeed. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. I was reading some stuff to Shelly from 2012 that I written. And Shelly, did I not sound the same back then? I mean, a little bit more sophisticated now. But was I not saying the same thing back then?
Oh yeah, you absolutely were. You never flip-flopped. You kept steady.
Yeah. So it's like I said, I've never seen this velocity of people waking up. So as tough as the last 4 years have been, and as uncool and unfair as 2020 was, it's been a blessing in disguise. And I keep coming back to that every week, but it's been a blessing in disguise because look at the people we have now. Look at the momentum we have now. Look at how far we've come since 2016. And this is the kind of momentum that can really truly make a big change and save our country. And it's not just the Black community and other communities that the establishment has been stepping on for a century, right? I mean, my series, the original one, Repairing History Together, right? I went through and described how it was always the establishment against the rest of us, and that the division that they use as their primary weapon here to keep us from realizing they're the bad guys, right? The racial division, right? And which really spills into a cultural Marxist strategy, right? They divide us by race because that's our sore spot in this country. And they're the ones who have divided us originally. People I explain everything in that first original series, Repairing History. It's just called Repairing History. And that's the one where it's just me, and I go through all the Thomas Sowell material, and I talk every week about that. That series right there lays it all out. And I stand by these conclusions that it was always their propaganda, always them trying to control the black community, always them trying to turn us against each other, always them trying to use them as a weapon against us. And they use welfare and other means to destroy their families and to incentivize them to keep supporting them. And we see the same pattern repeating with immigrants. Now, in this next piece, one of our other favorite creators here. I love Saturday nights because I usually just play my favorite creators and maybe a few new ones, but this is him talking about how MSNBC is fuming over the far left, abandoning Harris movement, destroying Kamala's campaign. And of course, we know that from our research and what we know about this, that the far left of the far left is actually not really part of the Democrat or even the political system here. They're like it's the Marxist far left, right? There's a Marxist paradigm that not a lot of people are aware of, and it's it's beneath our American paradigm. However that works out, like on how much government we're willing to tolerate. That's usually what left versus right means in American terms. When you Americanism, a constitutional term, right? But when you add in this disease called Marxism, they have their own political paradigm, but they often get mixed in with us. Right. So these far left people, these free Palestine people are actually far left Marxists. Right. And there's also these far right Marxists known as, alt-right or Patriot Front or whatever these groups are. Right. That aren't part of MAGA. But they get mixed in. We get blamed for all the stuff that they do. And they're normally, they love to come in and agitate and fight against our side. And you could see the same with these free Palestine people. They're fighting against the left. They're the left side. I mean, they're not part of it. But anyways, let's just take a listen to this.
And today that tantrum is a mountain. As we set course, they said that we would return to the Democratic Party days away from the election. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, we are 27 days away from the election. And today, proof that we are never going to return to the despicable leadership that you have modeled this past year. And
just as in previous eras,
We see the collective forces of white supremacy gathering to demonize armed resistance to oppression, white supremacy.
Hey, guys, remember all this, right? We're gonna do a little bit of a recap review here. Remember when they say these things, right? Their paradigm, in their paradigm, it's oppressor versus oppressed. They don't care about Palestine, right? They don't care about these things. That they see what the oppressor or whatever in any situation as a representation of capitalism. They're anti-capitalist is what it is. So when they're talking about that, they're talking about the oppressed, right? They're trying to co-opt the oppressed for Marxist purposes, right? That's what it is. You have to kind of like read between the lines with these people, because it's not one of these things that are out there and talked about a lot. Few people understand how this paradigm works, right? But if you do the research into where these people gather, what they talk about, and listen to some other people that may have done some research on this, they're truly talking about. And thank you, Crown Target, wherever you are, for turning me on to this material, some of the material. We sat there and we hung out one night, a bunch of us, and we went through a bunch of this far left socialist convention, and we went through what it means, what they're talking about there. They're not backing Kamala. They think, I mean, people see them with these things on, and they think that they're part of the Democratic Party. They're really not. So when you see them, just remember they're not. That's not what they are. They're for Marxism. They're cultural Marxists. They're radical Marxists. And what they want is they want to disrupt, destabilize any situation they can to promote Marxist ideals. Right? They have a framework of oppressor versus oppressed. And the oppressor is always capitalist in their mind. So Israel is the oppressor, Palestine is the oppressed. So that's the paradigm they pick up. They see Israel as capitalist, and they're just against anything capitalist, is what it is.
Genocide and European barbarism.
And as we're learning in Big Intel, the book we're reading on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on Unrig the Game by J. Michael Waller, fantastic book, amazing book. This idea of cultural Marxism has been going on for a very long time, and they use all these tactics, right? They use the race tactic, they use the religion tactic, they use what's there against the sitting society in order to collapse it, in order to bring it to crisis, so they can normalize our Marxist ideas and take over and actually become worse, the authoritarians, and create a worse situation. There's never been a good situation where Marxism has taken over and something good's come out of it, and it never has. It's never happened.
Here we are again, this time with the black face of white supremacy, Kamala Harris, repeatedly
the black face of white supremacy
lies,
coming from the left.
Rape allegations, always the prelude to every mass lynching in the United States of America, once again being deployed by white supremacists, this time to justify the mass lynching of the Palestinian people. The ignominious, infamous Kamala Harris and Joe Biden will go down in history as modern-day Nazis.
Look, I know y'all tired of me talking about Justine. Look, I'm tired of seeing her on my timeline. And since y'all tired of me talking about her, let me just pass the camera over to somebody else who can talk about it.
What up, y'all? It's Booker Squared here. Yeah, so Jill Stein, the politicking cicada, aka the Houdini heifer, who only shows up every 4 years to try to interfere in an election. She does not care about winning. She's made it very clear that she doesn't want to win. She wants 5% of the votes so she can get federal funding for the next election in 2028. She ain't trying to save nobody right now. She's not playing Captain Save-A-Ho for y'all. She's just being a weak-ass bitch. Everybody is tired of her because she's been coming after other third parties who are actually doing the work, like Working Families Party, which is a party of brown and black people who are actually working up the ballot at the state, local, and federal level to try to make change. Yeah, she shit-talks them, probably because, unlike her, they are actually doing what they are supposed to do. So y'all need to quit falling for her grift. Thank you very much.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have more terrible news for Kamala Harris, okay? Because like I've been telling you guys, Kamala is losing everybody, okay? The traditional voters of the Democrat Party are rejecting Kamala Harris in mass, okay? And the Democrats, historically speaking, have gotten the far left vote, okay? However, this time around, the far left is deciding that they're going to abandon Kamala Harris. In fact, they've created a whole group, a whole movement titled Abandon Harris, because they feel like Kamala Harris and the Democrats aren't far left enough, which I know is something that is really hard to imagine the Democrat Party, which is super far left, not being far left enough. But unfortunately, we do share a country with communists, okay? And these communists are mainly upset with Kamala Harris over being too pro-Israel when it comes to this war between Israel and Hamas, okay? And that has led them to mobilize voters against Kamala Harris, to not vote for her. Now, this mainly is important in swing states like Wisconsin and Michigan. Well, why is that? It's because Wisconsin and Michigan have significant Arab/Muslim voters, a significant Arab/Muslim population that typically votes Democrat. But if they don't vote Democrat, then that could affect the outcome of the election, because we know that Kamala Harris desperately needs to keep all the so-called Rust Belt states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. She needs to keep those states, the blue wall, so to speak, in order to have a chance of winning. And this is a big deal because just today, I told you guys that Trump has basically officially flipped Michigan. I've been talking about Michigan a lot lately because, again, the polls have indicated that Trump is gaining momentum in that state very quickly, fast, and he's finally flipped the state in the polling averages, okay, which means that he's probably up significantly considering how Trump tends to underperform in the polls. And with this endorsement of the Green Party candidate, Jill Stein, who is a far leftist, by the Abandon Harris group, which is composed mainly of Democrat voters who want to abandon the Democrat Party, that spells disaster for Kamala Harris based on what we've seen historically happen in the presidential elections, mainly in 2016, when Jill Stein was basically a spoiler candidate that stopped Hillary Clinton from being able to win that election. Take a look.
A progressive campaign group in Michigan is shifting their support away from the Democratic ticket, putting Democrats' hopes for a victory in the swing state in jeopardy. Abandon Harris, a group critical of the vice president, has endorsed Green Party candidate Jill Stein with specific intention to remove support from the Democratic Party.
We need to be clear about what our goals are. We are not in a position to win the White House, but we do have a real opportunity to win something historic. We could deny Kamala Harris the state of Michigan.
There you go. The group argues the Biden-Harris administration has abandoned progressive policies. Their endorsement of Stein is seen as a signal of disillusionment from the party's left-wing base and may affect Democratic turnout. The endorsement comes from a large demographic of primarily Muslim Americans in Michigan, citing anger at the Democratic Party for supporting Israel in the war with Hamas. Trump also has sided with Israel throughout his entire 2024 campaign, recently saying he is Israel's protector. A recent poll in the region shows 40% of Muslim voters back Stein, while Trump and Harris trail behind at 18% and 12% respectively. Michigan is home to one of the largest Arab communities in the United States. Stein, a Jewish longtime progressive and Green Party candidate with anti-Israel sympathies, previously ran for president in 2012 and 2016. While her progressive platform includes environmental advocacy, universal health care, and economic reform, she is not without controversy. In past elections, Stein has been accused of being a spoiler candidate by some Democrats, who argue that her campaigns drew away votes from the Democratic Party, ultimately aiding Republican victories. Stein has defended her role, stating that voters deserve more options beyond the two-party system and that the Democratic Party must be held accountable to progressive values. The endorsement could have an effect on the election in Michigan in a race that is already tight. Stein's support may actually be significant enough to be noticed. When she last ran in 2016, Trump's victory margin was smaller than total Stein votes in key swing states.
Wow. So you see that, you heard that. 40% of Muslim voters in Michigan are going for Jill Stein, 18% are going for Trump, and 12% are going for Kamala Harris. That is a big deal. I cannot overstate how devastating those numbers are for Kamala Harris because, again, this election in some of these states could be very close, and those margins are certainly going to matter on election day. Now, this has created a whole lot of woke on woke conflict, right? As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, you have Jill Stein and her VP essentially accusing anybody voting for Kamala Harris of supporting white supremacy, right? Supporting the white supremacists in blackface, which I find to be hilarious, okay? I find it very funny when the woke left turns against the Democrats and starts to use the same type of insults that Democrats try to use against Republicans, right? I mean, this is what's currently happening right now. And Democrats are currently panicking for good reason, okay? Because you have MSNBC now covering the Jill Stein problem for the Democrat Party and the fact that she could basically ruin Kamala's chances of winning. So without further ado, let's get into Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, Democrat Party propagandists, react to Jill Stein potentially spoiling the presidential race for Kamala Harris and Democrats.
Presidential candidate Jill Stein earlier this month on the Breakfast Club radio show in New York, unable to answer correctly how many members are in the House of Representatives. Let's bring in...
She's only 150 off.
Oh, my God. Let's bring in editor-at-large at Newsweek, Tom Rogers. His latest piece is entitled, Jill Stein Blew It for Hillary Clinton. Will she do the same for Harris?
Well, I mean, let's be fair. Jill Stein would not be the first woman to blow it for Hillary Clinton, right? I think that
that was Monica
Lewinsky, to be honest with you.
Let's start there. Will she?
Well, all the focus went off of third-party candidates when RFK Jr. dropped out, but there's real peril there for Kamala Harris in terms of what remains. Jill Stein was responsible for Hillary Clinton not making it to the White House. Her margin, say in Michigan, was 50,000 votes, and Trump only won by 10,000 votes there. And the whole Trump math is that we know Trump has a ceiling, whether it's 47%, 48%. So he needs to have somebody siphon off votes from the Democratic candidate in order to win by plurality. And Jill Stein being on the ballot in all the swing states, but Nevada, is really in a position when we know that the swing states are going to come down to 1-2% margins.
Yeah. Hey, so Tom, just to talk about how this has really changed American history, especially this century, without Ralph Nader taking a couple of percentage points from Al Gore in 2000, and Jill Stein taking a couple of percentage points from Hillary Clinton in 2016, Democrats would have won the Electoral College. Well, they won the popular vote 7 of the last 8, but minus those two, like third-party spoiler candidates, no Republican would have been elected president since 1992.
Absolutely right. And it's not only the Stein threat, but Cornel West is on the ballot in Wisconsin and Michigan, North Carolina and Georgia. And so there's a double threat there. There's also a Libertarian candidate on all the swing state ballots. Unclear who a Libertarian candidate pulls from. Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate in 2016, actually polled more than Jill Stein did. But we do know that Biden in 2020 was able to actually increase his margin while Trump's margin stayed the same as 2016, meaning Biden's increased margin over Trump probably came off the back of not having Stein on the ballot in 2020 and getting that share of third-party votes.
Yeah, so again, that's a good point, right? In the sense that in 2016, when you had those left-wing third parties on the ballot, Democrats lost, Hillary lost, and then, you know, when they were not on the ballot in 2020, and I think more than that happened in 2020, to be honest with you, but that probably factored into it when it comes to the third parties not being on the ballot, like Jill Stein not being on the ballot. Yeah, that definitely helped out Democrats, right? But this year, they have a double threat, maybe a triple threat, because the Libertarian probably will pull some votes from Trump, but the Libertarian candidate, I believe, is like super woke, right? Like super far. So he's not really getting any conservative votes, right? He may get some woke Libertarians, but I don't think that anybody voting for the Libertarian candidate is really a Trump voter, right? Or somebody that if the Libertarian wasn't on the ballot, they'd be voting for Trump, right? I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case, okay? But I am sure that if Cornel West wasn't on the ballot or if Jill Stein wasn't on the ballot, then those voters probably would be likely to go to Kamala Harris over Trump. And that's a problem, right? So it's not just Jill Stein, but it's also Cornel West as well, too. And they have refused to drop out of the race, despite the fact that Democrats allegedly have approached them about dropping out of the race, but they're saying, no, we're going to stay in because we explicitly want to undermine the Democrats. We explicitly want to stop Kamala Harris from winning. They don't care about the, oh, well, you're allowing Trump to win thing. They don't give a damn about that at all, right? Which is the part that I love the most about it, right? They cannot be talked out of it with Trump derangement, right? So they're saying, no, we're going to stick to our guns. We're going to stick to our principles. We don't like Kamala. Therefore, we're going to undermine her. Like, we're actively going to tank her campaign because we don't want Democrats to win because they're not far left enough.
Help me understand, and our viewers understand, that what is the point of the third-party candidates? What are they trying to represent? Why are they there? You know, I ran in 2004, and I decided to run in the primaries. I didn't think I was going to be president because we was right after 9/11, but I wanted to be in the debates. I wanted to bring out issues that I felt would not be discussed. What is their point of running? They were not in the debates because they're not running in the primaries. So, I mean, what is the point other than they end up messing up someone that may be closer to their politics than the other?
Well, I think you asked the money question. I don't think there is a point other than to be a spoiler. They make the argument that they represent viewpoints that need to be on the ballot to give voters a choice, even though they know they have no choice.
To be fair, I've followed the third party stuff for a long time. To be fair, they want more parties. That's really what it's about. They want more parties on the ballots and in the debates. In fact, in 2012, there's a lot more than that. They even had a third party debate back then. I thought that was going to become a regular thing. You know, they had like 4 different third parties that had their own debate. Gary Johnson was one of them. Jill Stein was in there. There was some guy from the Constitution Party, and he was a lively character. So yeah, they really just, they're tired of the 2-party system. They want to have more parties. That's what really what their motivation is.
chance whatsoever of winning or no chance of even getting any electoral college votes. But it's very clear in the case of Jill Stein in
Very true,
2016, the Russians, through their social media efforts, were very much promoting her. It's very clear that both Stein and West have benefited when it comes to signature collection to get on the ballot in swing states, that Republican-connected Trump lawyers have been involved in their efforts, and Republican money looks like it's at the heart of getting West on the ballot. So these are spoiler efforts. And anybody who thinks about voting third party, whether they're voting because they don't think Harris is progressive enough, they don't like her position on Gaza, they think because of fracking she's not green enough, all they are doing is electing Donald Trump president. And anybody who knows, a neighbor, a friend, anybody who says, I don't like either candidate, I think I'm going to vote third party, let them know they are electing Donald Trump if they do that.
The piece is,
I think they're already aware of that.
Well, the other part too is like if you don't vote, right? That's a vote for the establishment. They can totally use your vote. We need to overwhelm them so they can't cheat. They can't pull any of their shenanigans. And we cover their shenanigans twice a week on the channel, if not more, on the segment I have called Rig Watch during winning 2024 shows. And I got plenty more to go over this week too already. So yeah, I mean, I get what they're saying, but you know, it really is the paradigm that I described. It's establishment versus anti-establishment. It's establishment versus the rest of us, man. If you're awake, aware, and resisting, you're part of the anti-establishment. Don't let the establishment win, right? Vote against them. But voting third party isn't. I agree, and not voting doesn't help. You really got to just stick with the anti-establishment. That's MAGA right now. Let's go. Kim's Creation says libertarian is not the same as being an independent, is it? Nope, it's not. They have their own party.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. He had to explain this to me as well. So I feel you. Go ahead, explain
that. Right. I think they've already baked in the Trump arrangement, right? I think they already are aware that, okay, it's likely that we're just going to help Trump, right? But they don't care. Again, that's the part about this that I love, because these people are essentially accusing Jill Stein of being a Russia plant, right? This is what they always do. Okay, when there's a candidate in the race they don't like, they say, well, this person is a Manchurian candidate for Russia, right? This is Putin's puppet, okay? And Putin is so anti-Democrat party,
Their
right?
Their playbook is so worn out, people can see through it. The mind control only works for so long. You got to keep shifting it up. They don't shift it up. They keep going back to the well because it works, and they're fundamentally lazy.
They'll do anything to stop the Democrats from winning, right? So, you know, it's the same old song and dance that they always do. Okay, when there's somebody in the race they don't like, they smear them as some type of foreign agent, some operative, whatever, right? But the truth is that, hey, Jill Stein is running based off what she believes, which is that the Democrats aren't far left enough, which again, it's hard to imagine, but you know, that is the reality about politics. And it's just so funny how Democrats show you time and time again how much they hate democracy. This is democracy. What they're doing is democracy. This is a part of democracy. You have the right to vote for a third-party candidate, to consider other choices. It's not just Democrats and Republicans. And at the end of the day, hey, if you can't get those votes of the people who are voting for third-party candidates, then it is what it is.
Online now for Newsweek, editor-at-large Tom Rogers. Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it. And that does it for us this morning.
So,
the neocon rhino
clearly, MSNBC is not happy, which means the Democrat Party is not happy. And they have good reason to not be happy, okay? Because, again, Trump now is basically up in Michigan, which is one of these states that, again, is going to be a big factor in the election. It's a big factor when it comes to the abandoned Harris vote. And, you know, it's one thing if Kamala was up, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points in Michigan, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, okay? But since Trump is already basically winning in Michigan, that makes this an even bigger deal, because it indicates that Kamala Harris has an uphill battle in regards to actually winning that state. And if that state goes red, then it's probably likely that Wisconsin will go red and Pennsylvania will go red, which means that Trump could sweep the Rust Belt, right? So that is currently what is happening, okay? And like I said, the closer it gets to the election, the worse it is getting for Kamala Harris. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Good news. Good news all the way around. That's what we're doing. This is the good news of the week. So happy you're here. It's great to see so many new faces in the crowd tonight. Turning guns. What's up, man? He's got that bullet right there. What's up? Let's see. And we had Kim's has been new. She's been coming around. No, there are no stupid questions. I'm here to help people understand whatever I can. I've been doing this a long time. And decades. I've been in this fight to save our country. I went from Ron Paul to Donald Trump, and here we are, making progress every time. As long as we're fighting, and we're fighting new, great, awesome people, and we're pulling them away from the establishment mind control, and it's the establishment narrative, their information-based mind control system between the media, education, and politicians that are this actually the real foreign agents here, the globalist agents. We're making progress. Like I said at the beginning of the show, some of you might not have caught it. But I said this has been, we're accelerating in terms of in terms of the awakening, things that we've been trying to push for so long to get people to understand the true nature of our reality right now, and that we were basically born into a rigged game, and to see the walls that the establishment has put up around us and pull them out of it, so that they can become part of the resistance to it. We can actually live in a prosperous, free way like we were intended to, and actually have it on a system again to work from. Krista as well. Krista, awesome. So many new faces. So great to see you, and always so great to see the crowd that's here every week, guys. Thank you so much. And also the pop-ins too, like Furby. Also great to see you, Furby. Thank you guys for being here. Memento Mori is always here, and great, awesome person. Wolfram, the mod with the most. Remember to listen to the Wolf. He knows what he's talking about. And Thomas, always adding so much to the chat. Grim, an old friend. We go way back to the beginning, at least my beginning, at the beginning of the streaming, and all that. So, oh yeah, check this out. And this is what we do when we get gifted memberships.
It's cold. A big open up. It has the juice. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I try to get out of anything thing.
Ah, Shelly, talking trash and truths. 5 gifted memberships tonight. Let's see what we got here. E. Poindexter, Art the Clown. I haven't seen Art the Clown in a long time. I'm glad he's still subscribed. Southern Red Sox girl. Turning gun. Well, hold on. Crown Target. Maybe we'll get Crown Target back in here. I just mentioned him tonight, and there we go. And 3 beers. All right. So awesome. Has it been 4? No, has it been 4 years already? No. Has it been 4 years? Wow. But hey guys, welcome to the Winner Circle. I hope you guys enjoy your gifted membership. Make sure you thank Shelly when you come in. That's Talking Trash and Truth. She's right next to me out there.
That would be me.
Yeah, she's right there.
Furby wants me to say quarter. Quarter. Are you happy? There's 4 quarters and $1. There you go. You got a double one because they even said dollar. So there you go.
It's been about 4 years. That's insane. Has it really? God, time flies. Wow. Holy cow. All right. Well, there's a lot of progressive outlets out there that drove us crazy. They've been driving people crazy for years with their lies and their gaslighting and their inability to either see what's really going on or to aid the establishment and crushing us. Their resistance to change, the resistance to like true patriotism and Americanism, like the resistance to Ron Paul, the resistance to Donald Trump and others. As long as we're at it. As long as we're at it.
Oh my.
Wolfram, thank you for the $5 super chat.
Hilarious.
I appreciate it, man. There you go. There's the clip. I hope you guys are super chatting Shelly when she plays, because there's a new clip over there. I have to redo the music, but it's okay. I got it. It's gonna happen before her next show. Her super
good.
chat.
You mean my religious show? That's good. Let's make sure we have the super chat with the boobies ready.
God made boobies. All right.
That's true. He made them in all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. To be loved by all.
Hey, Graham, I've been pulling up my old songs. Like I have like a bunch of songs I've written, either never performed or haven't performed in a long time, or only performed on acoustic. And I've been redoing them with my new band, Suno. Hey guys, I'm in a band. I rejoined. I know I said I'd never do it again, but I rejoined a band. It's called Suno, and
oh god.
So I played some of them last week. I'll play some at the end of the show if you want to stick around. I'm gonna play some of the new ones, and I think that if any of them get some of them are pretty damn good, and I like the takes they have on the songs. Considering some of the songs were always all just in my head. Some of them were, like I said, just real simply played on the acoustic, and then some were actually played in bands. But if some of them are really, really dynamite, I might actually talk to you about cleaning them up a little bit. Maybe go through cleaning them up. They got some new stuff.
Some of them I really liked.
Yeah, you can. I guess if you get to know me, you can tell them when you hear them that I wrote them. But you have to get to know me first. But I think I think a lot of them they sound like songs that you would hear.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks again for that, Wolfram. All right, here we go. So anyways, progressive, but even progressive journalists, even people that lean left, like Tim Pool, and others, that they come around eventually. I remember H.A. Goodman came around. I don't know why his channel never took off, but he came around during WikiLeaks, right? And when you really just want, you're really defender of truth, but you don't know the whole picture yet, you'll tend to, you may come across like that. And when you start to figure things out, you're like, oh yeah, this all is a big scam. And eventually you figure out, hey, I'm not going to support the big scam anymore, because in my heart, who I really am is I'm an honest person, and I just didn't see through the narrative, right? Tim Pool's one of them, and this is so funny because here he is explaining, and I'll have to correct him on one thing in this video, but here he is explaining Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks coming around to things, and it's always good news when they come around and they turn at least at the very least turn on the Democratic Party, the hotbed for the establishment.
On liberal intolerance that drove her away from the Democratic Party. You've seen the story. We talked about it yesterday, but there is still some more here to talk about. They woke me up, Anna Kasparian said, about being lectured by liberals after getting sexually assaulted in 2022. Anna Kasparian, as the story goes, for those that didn't see the story yesterday, has published an article saying she's independent and unaligned. She has gone on, and of course she's on the progressive channel, The Young Turks, explained how she was sexually assaulted by a homeless man. When she complained about it, she got attacked by the left. She said on Twitter, please don't call me a birthing person. That's humiliating. And they attacked her for it. She goes on to say, instead of engaging with their arguments, they made out of context videos to insult and attack her and make money off them. Indeed, they did. And this is what the progressive left does on YouTube and other social media platforms.
Well, not just
Anna,
them,
who I believe has absolutely participated.
not just them. Troll culture does it. All troll culture does that. And there's when people are down, they kick harder. I watched this documentary recently. I'll talk about it later, but basically diving into the world of really the hateful trolls that do like RIP trolling, like people put up memorial pages for people that have passed away, and that whole culture. And it was like, wow, man, these people have real problems. And so it's that too. It's that too. But that's not what I have something else coming up here.
Hated in such things. Is now a victim of it. I didn't think the leopards were going to eat my face, says Seamus Coughlin the other night, talking about this. But as I've addressed much of this and read her letter, there is still some more to the idea of the left, leftists leaving the left and what the realization is. But the bigger question, I suppose, is outside of what Anna Kasparian's experiences are and where she will end up. We have losing the plot. This is a story from last year. The leftists who turn right. In these times, it's quite upset that there are people who are liberal and left-leaning who are saying, you are a cult, you are insane. And I will tell you this. Anna Kasparian has a lot to learn. The more she goes on this journey of open-mindedness, she is going to be considered far right in a matter of minutes. Yep. The reason is
that's his experience too. Because I was watching Tim before he finally figured it out, but I saw that he was going to figure it out. It's like I saw with H.A. Goodman, he was going to figure it out. I can just tell when people are on the path. I've seen it so many times. I've been doing this for so long. I can tell when they're on the path. And he was on the path. Like he's going to eventually come around. So I'm going to watch him, and I'm going to be here for the big moment when he comes out and tells everybody he's a Trump supporter. And that's what he did.
Being right is not about your political ideology. It's about who you communicate with. Politics only flows in one direction. Here's an example. If there is a picture of me with a bunch of leftists, the left will say, let's say there's 5 Antifa, a group right here, and me standing next to them. They will say, all of those people cavorting with Tim Pool are far right. They're hypocrites. They're liars. if I stand alongside a bunch of conservatives and say, haha, that proves it, Tim Pool's right wing. There's no circumstance where you can stand with leftists and they will call you left wing. It's always just their right wing now. Politics flows in one direction. So if Anna Kasparian starts talking with conservatives and saying, I disagree, and she says, I'm pro-choice, I'm critical of Israel, they're going to say, oh, she's far right because she's friends with Trump supporters, because she's entertaining their arguments. What happens then? She's going to start to learn things, and she's going to change her political opinions because the left doesn't care about facts. They really don't. So as she's on this journey, let's talk about the others who are leaving the left, and I'm here for it. I can see right there they bring up Max Blumenthal. Oh boy, Max, what a lefty!
I love
we've
how
had him on the
he
show.
he doesn't acknowledge his own journey, like he was always there. Oops. You know, Timmy, you weren't always there, buddy. I watched you when you were just learning how to walk. You weren't always there, but I guess it's cool. I'm glad you're at the point now where you can actually see it, what other people are doing. He does have good points about this.
I'm not sure if we've had him on twice or once, but he's great. It's funny when he's like, I got to defend Trump on some of this foreign policy stuff I do. And I'm like, I got you. It's true. It's not that it's a fact. When you see libertarians say, well, Trump foreign policy was better than the rest of them. Is it just libertarians going far right? Leftists going far right? Here's what they write. How to name the rude currents eroding the left. Those which have claimed the hearts, minds, and Substack so many former friends and fellow travelers. There are the journalist provocateurs and the readers who have followed them rightward.
Stop.
The Trumpers come.
When they hear fellow travelers, it's based in Marxism. It's a Marxist term. It's been around since the beginning, right? And people have been throughout World War I, World War II, whatever. The cultural Marxists have make this reference. It is there. So whenever you see people loosely using that language, either it means they're ignorant about what it means, or they're very aware of what it means.
Lately marching onto Glenn Greenwald's rumble or vanishing into Max Blumenthal's gray zone. There are those not quite there yet, such as Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks. Oh, she's there now. Currently mourning the leftism, she now believes gaslit her about a crime wave it refuses to admit.
Are they using it as a reference, right? As a reference to saying, yeah, those are the Marxists.
I'm going through some very, very real and sincere disaffected Democrats podcast in July, and it's uncomfortable. It is indeed. Consider this location that flickers across the face of journalist Matt Taibbi in interviews this summer for the conspiracist right-wing Epoch Times. Acclaimed by the left wing during Occupy Wall Street as a scourge of corporate power, Taibbi is best known for his years at Rolling Stone. When the day eventually comes, the, quote, vampire squid relentlessly jamming its blood funnel into anything that smells like money, Taibbi's unforgettable embodiment of Goldman Sachs in a 2010 article will haunt his obituary. No, it won't, because Matt Taibbi's opinions haven't changed. Y'all are just a deranged cult. I just recently talked to Matt Taibbi. It was fun. He was criticizing John Kerry, saying the First Amendment is in the way. And I responded with what was black ooze pouring out of his mouth as he was speaking. And then Matt, much to my honor, said, can I use that on stage? I was like, absolutely. It's an honor and a privilege, good sir. I know, Matt. I was at Occupy Wall Street too. Oh, there, I said it. Matt Taibbi still is critical of corporate power, big pharma, government mandates on medication. And the left is like, we're fine with that. When did y'all start suckling the teat of big corporations, dude? Yeah, and we're the ones who lost our minds? Well, Taibbi insists his politics haven't changed, and they haven't. An oddly conservative way to insist one has become conservative. His surroundings certainly have. Weaving a velvety brown jacket, jeans, and his default smirk, he sat for his Epoch Times interview at the Libertarian Freedom Fest conference. This year, in addition to Taibbi, it featured as speakers presidential candidates RFK Jr., an independent, who's a Democrat, Vivek Ramaswamy, a Republican, along with Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat, united in their contempt for wokeness. Epoch Times' Jan Jekielek appointed Taibbi an American thought leader. Indeed he is. Let's go. They're just going to keep ragging on Matt Taibbi. Consider the case of David Horowitz, once a founding sponsor of this magazine, more recently author of Blitz, Trump Will Smash the Left and Win. Or after him, Christopher Hitchens, whose knowledge of Iraqi Baathism led him after 9/11 to align first with U.S. neocons and ultimately with the very kind of religious nationalists he so long derided. We might mark 9/11 as the moment when many who believe they were for peace give into the notion that it can only be won through war. How about this? Trump is the anti-war candidate. He is. Kamala Harris is the pro-war candidate. They say, but the present left-to-right acceleration began in earnest with the onset of Trump. There are the intellectuals in exile, the scholars who once contained complaints about free speech or diversity initiatives.
Acceleration. That's because at that point, there was no longer a false left-right paradigm, right? We were all, most of us here, and unless you're, very, very, very old, were born into the false left-right paradigm, right? And it's never been easier to prove that's a real thing. People hear that, they're like, well, no, it's left and right, Democrats, Republicans. Democrats are for the working people. They're for the small people. They want social programs. The Republicans are greedy greedy billionaire supporting, fundamentalist, religious, racist, whatever. They're the heels, and the Democrats are supposed to be the faces, and you're supposed to vote for them. And then every now and then, just like in WWE, the heel will beat the face, right? So you got to deal with the heel holding the title for 4 years. And they went back and forth between the Clintons and the Bushes, and they had it all worked out. And then a guy named Ron Paul came along and started calling out the neocons and pointing out the fact that these guys were not real Republicans. In fact, neoconservatism, I've done a whole show on that and gone back into the depths of that, was originally influenced and spurred off of Trotskyism. We've been hearing about Trotsky a lot on Read the Game as we read Big Intel by J. Michael Waller, giving us the history of how our intelligence service has been infiltrated by this cultural Marxist disease, and why they're now villains in our country when they used to be heroes, trying to keep that very same thing out. That's what we're learning about in this awesome book. You got to join us. You got to get caught up. You got to listen to this book. It's amazing. But anyways, how they were basically just trading power back and forth. But no matter who was in charge, the policies never changed. Whether it was war policy or social policy or whatever. What didn't Bush run on factories and get rid of NAFTA, and then he just left it there and never did a damn thing with it, right? Trump did it on the other hand and got rid of it as one of his points. However, there's never been easier to prove that there was a false left-right paradigm for anybody who wants to dispute it. It's just look at where all the neocons and they are now. Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, the Bushes, Mitt Romney, McCain, the McCain daughter, everybody who was a neocon is over there behind Kamala now. And as soon as Trump kicked into the door of the GOP and took it back, like Ron Paul was trying to do for 2 runs, right? As soon as he took it from them, they all scurried away and became Donald Trump bad. Right? They all joined the establishment because they were always part of it. It was always a joke. It was always the illusion of choice. And I don't know that Tim gets this concept yet. And then the guy in the article either is avoiding it or doesn't have a clue about it either. And I still think a lot of people were having a hard time coming to grip with it. But that was my mission for a good 8 years, of trying to get people to realize that Ron Paul was a different type of Republican. He was adherent to what its original foundings was. And that he represented liberty in the Constitution, where we had been growing up with the impression of what a Republican was completely false by these neocon rhinos, right? And like I said, it's never been easier to prove this now than ever, that the false left-right paradigm, at least at the presidential level and hopefully further down the road, has now by this time in 2024, what ended in 2016 when Trump won the nomination and took the White House.
Metastasized into broad contrarianism that found new patrons. There are the not so funny anymore comedians, once known for their left politics, Chappelle and Roseanne and Russell Brand, pulled rightward by jokes. I want to give a hearty shout out to Russell Brand, who has gone so far right, he's Christian. I bet they cried over that one. Stress, I'm not Christian, but I'm friends with many. And I respect
he got baptized.
The Christian beliefs or Jewish beliefs, whatever you want to believe.
Very proud of him.
But the left cannot handle it. They lose their minds at the thought of someone finding Christ. Aw. It's funny because Russell Brand is still funny. Seamus Coughlin is
funny. It happened when he had a kid.
He's Catholic, and I don't see what the problem is. We are the big tent party with RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, and y'all can keep crying about it. Here we go. There's the new right's very own Kennedy, Robert F. Jr. Of the bulging biceps, RFK Jr. may seem, with his campaign push-ups, little more than a joke to young leftists, but his history as a champion of intersectional environmentalism is long. And he is bringing this Make America Healthy Again environmentalist policy to Donald Trump's administration. You are a cult if you cannot recognize that Donald Trump bringing on RFK Jr. moderates his administration and gives us the environmentalism many of us wanted for so long. I'm sick of the garbage in our foods. I am sick of the pesticides. I am sick of the chemicals. And so we got RFK Jr. now. Who do you have?
Yes,
Dick Cheney.
No
Congratulations.
fluoride.
I don't know if Max Blumenthal is going to be voting for Donald Trump, but when talking about war and conflict, he's even in agreement with us and we with him. Let's bring the real unity party together. But these people can't handle it. Why? Oh, no, Roseanne is right-wing now. Oh, no, RFK Jr., Russell Brand. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle hasn't changed a bit. He was ragging on Candace Owens. But he makes fun of your crazy ideas because you're a cult. And I am here for it. This is cathartic. I left the left or whatever, right? I never did a video where I said I'm leaving the left or anything like that. Because
you said I'm voting for Donald
care
Trump.
to say anything like that, but of course I'm not on the left. I've been hypercritical of them because they're a cult. But my views on policy and morality and government function are still moderately liberal. Conservatives recognize it. But I've explained it this way. We used to have, let's call this big sphere that is the United States culture. And within it, you had the left and the right and the moderates in between.
This is where he shows us a little bit of lack of sophistication on the matter. I just explained how it works, right? I just explained 2 decades of being awake and aware and what the research and gone down and learned the histories and the players and the beginnings of all these things. I even could tell you pretty much where they started
right count.
I can almost tell you pretty much where they began to adopt, where they started the false left right paradigm, right? I can pretty much tell you where that started, and that was pretty much with U.S. Bank and Prescott Bush and John F. Harriman, right? They were both on either side, very good friends. U.S. Bank funded the Nazis, all that stuff, right? I'm pretty sure that's where it started, but I can also show you where all of the neocons started getting cabinet positions and started coming in underneath, right? And then they really just kicked the door down and during Reagan, through Reagan, right? Reagan didn't have a clue about it. But you had George Bush on there, right? So they made a deal. Hey, look, in order for you to get the nomination, you got to take George Bush. That's when they did it. That's when it really became, and you look at what happened from Bush on, there you have it. Until Ron Paul called it out and Donald Trump did the job, we had a false left right paradigm going on. Illusion of choice. And they would have kept it that way forever. They loved it. It was the perfect game. It was had everybody fooled. Generations of people were brought up believing that's the way things were. And these people represented a true true choice in America, right? They believe that stuff. Tim still believes it here. You're gonna hear what it sounds like when you don't know about the false left right paradigm. He should know about it because he must not have been paying attention to the Ron Paul rallies.
At some point, there was a malignant bump just growing on it. Or no, I'm sorry, budding occurred. That's what we call it, budding, when it starts growing off and then flops off. This is the left, isolated in its entirety from the core structure of the American political community. That is to say, I'm actually a liberal. Ben Shapiro, actually a conservative. We recognize that of each other, and we get along really, really well. And our conversations are cordial. And, last time I talked to Ben a couple weeks ago, he says, I think you and I disagree on some foreign policy stuff. And it's like, how simple is that? And then there's the left. Fall in line or else we will destroy you. But you know what? Cut off from the rest of us, it's withering away. Bye-bye, Dick Cheney. Join sides with these individuals. This is what they're lamenting. Horseshoe theory.
No, he was always there. They were always on the same side. The Bushes and the Clintons used to vacation together.
I was going to say, these people hang out together in private.
Dude, George Bush calls Hillary his sister, right? And so while we're supposed to be fighting over policies and deciding which one was a better president, right? Why people are losing friendships over these things online, right? They're vacationing together. They're living high on the hog in the global elitist world, right? With their millions and millions of dollars that they've taken away from other people and stolen from places and laundered and made backroom deals with their power, right? It's like I said, you don't have to believe me. Just look at where they are now.
Theory, the horseshoe hour. Jimmy Dore. Once another left comedian who lost hold of the joke, now marvels over his meeting the minds Tucker Carlson. We should do a show together called The Horseshoe Hour. When Jimmy Dore, who's economically left, has a good conversation with Tucker, that's called the Unity Party. That's us, my friends. So what do they say? As they complain, they cry, and they whinge. They lost everybody. I mean, Naomi Wolf they bring up. Look at this. Bye. All that's going to happen, more and more, the left is going to lose people who wake up. There are a lot of people that I know. I don't want to call them out directly.
Hey,
but they had awakenings recently.
How you doing, man? I see you there.
There's one person I've known for a long time, and they would just post anti-Trump stuff, and I never bother them over it. I'd interact sometimes. I'd say, well, what about this? One day, I see a post from them. Trump. Wow. I knew somebody who was a BLM activist, marching for Black Lives Matter, leftist. One day, she's posting, Trump must win. And I was like, you too? Wow. Yep. Because people are waking up. You're allowed to be critical of Trump. You're allowed to be offended by Trump. But you recognize he's got a better job. He's going to do a better job. You recognize Tulsi Gabbard, Elon, RFK Jr., we got the Unity Party that we were begging for.
Yep.
So let them cry. But the left cult is breaking, and they're losing their minds over it. Look at this. The hand reaching to fire, please. I'll wrap this one up there, my friends. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know.
I don't think actually. I'm wondering if it's another episode where it was kind of a similar topic that I was listening to, where he tries to explain it. Maybe it may, or maybe I just didn't get it the first time. I mean, he's kind of. I get it. I think that me and him would have a great conversation together. I think I would. He'd be surprised by the connections I could help him make. But that's all right. I'm not. That's not what I'm after here. I think he's does pretty good job on most things. He's kind of chilled out on some of the other stuff that I had criticisms early in the year about. So we'll let it go at that. All right. How you guys doing out there? Count, I see you rolling in here, man. I got a great crowd in the house tonight. Thank you guys for being here. A lot of smart people here. A lot of smart people saying a lot of smart things.
Not me.
There we go. And we're going to be doing, this is good news of the week. This is what we do first. Then we do cool and funny videos after that. And then at the end, I'm going to be doing playing some songs. So there you go. Not physically, but I'll physically be playing them, but I will not be performing them myself. It'll be my new band.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Let's see. Goodness. Let's pull a little quick one in here. Real quick. A little afternoon delight. I knew you were going to say that. So I was ready. All right.
You're always ready.
This dude. All right. This dude. Let me see. He's the CEO of Sticker Mule. All right. And they're actually located in Amsterdam of all places. And there's a giant building that they've bought, right? And a sign that's been on top of that building forever that kind of represented something that was a memorial to the fact that, industry had left the town. Okay. And so he's decided to do something very cool with that building and that sign to make a statement. And I think you guys will find that's pretty damn cool. Let's see. I'm going to get right to it. There we go. This is real.
All right, should we like to sign up? Ready? Can we say New York loves Trump first?
It's in New York. Okay.
Maybe one more time so we can hear it better. New York loves Trump. You think he's listening? One more time. All right, light it up.
There we go. Okay, so that's actually in New York. Sticker Mule is out of Amsterdam, but he came back, I think, to buy this building.
Take pictures, share them everywhere. We want the whole country to see this sign. We want the whole world to see the sign. We got free McDonald's for everybody.
Cool. All right, man. We have to have a talk about about GMOs, but that's all right. We can do that later. You don't want to ever give people McDonald's. That's right. I'm anti-McDonald's, so whatever. If you like it, you like it. Where are we at on time? Okay, cool.
We're good.
Are we? Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, just making sure. You sure you're sure?
Bafangul, yeah?
Bafaguli.
Do your thing. Let's go. He was on Glenbeck's show. All right. Yesterday. Nice. Kim got her yarn balled up, so she's good to hang out and chat now. Glad to have you back, honey.
Who's back? Heidi.
Kim's Creations. She got her yarn balled up.
All right.
She's good. Now she can talk.
Take it off, Memento. Thanks for being here. We'll
Good
be
night,
around.
Memento.
If you decide to come back, we'll be here. But it's good to see you, man. And I'll see you soon. All right. Oh man, I'm sorry for the shocking photo you're about to see. If you're,
geez. I get a preview before you guys see it.
Yeah, sorry for that. It is Halloween though. It is Halloween times, which reminds me, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on Old School Watch Party Sunday, we're gonna be watching the classic documentary about Obama and his real father, Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert. If you haven't seen this, you need to watch this documentary. It's very interesting and also goes into his Marxist backgrounds. traces that out very nicely. And if this guy isn't his real father, it's his intellectual father. It's the one who trained his mind. Let's put it that way. But you know, they do all look an awful lot alike. And then following that, our Halloween, it is October, so they're all Halloween movies, Halloween-based movies, you know, comedy horrors. Shaun of the Dead as voted on and by the crowd themselves. You guys picked this movie, so I expect y'all to be there to watch it, especially T-Rex. All right. All right. So yeah, this is a quick one. Here we go.
Just when you think you saw the last of Ellen DeGeneres, she comes crawling back out of whatever dark pit she came from, and apparently she has not had enough of the backlash that she has received already. Apparently she is coming back for more, and that is exactly what she gets, because today she decided to say the dumbest thing that she has ever said in this absolutely insane post on Instagram that we're going to be checking out here today. Gay Trump supporters blast Ellen DeGeneres after anti-Trump post. So, and you know, whether you agree with it or not, that's just the reality of the situation, is that, you know, there are a lot of people who are part of the alphabet community that do support Trump. You post something stupid, and rather than seeing your followers flock to support it, the bulk of the responses turn out negative. You would think.
Yeah, so here we go. I mean, we're just going down the whole line, aren't we? All right. Going down the whole line. Blacks turning against the establishment.
They have lost the ability to read a room.
Their own side, the far left Marxist turning against it. Why do you gotta do to turn a far left Marxist against you? And then here we go, the gays as well.
That these celebrities would start to catch on to the fact that the majority of us are sick and tired of their BS, right? Pretty much every time one of these celebrities says one of these ridiculously insane political things, they get completely destroyed. Well, Ellen DeGeneres just messed around and found out. So the famous comedian just posted some boilerplate alphabet community agitprop Tuesday on her Instagram. It features a picture of what appears to be a boy in drag queen style makeup with words you can't tell someone you love them and then vote for someone who will hurt them written on his cheek. So this whole picture right here is extremely uncomfortable and very cringe, and it makes me feel actually kind of gross. You know what I mean? Like seeing the type of continual propaganda that is being pushed by many of these insane lunatic leftists on the kids is just absolutely sickening. And that should be something that we are all against. And that is, of course, something that is continuing to wake up more people to the insanity of what happens when you get on that slippery slope, because that is exactly what we are dealing with here, is the slippery slope of continuing to push for more and more degeneracy. So she captioned this by saying, "This is beyond politics. It's about love and inclusion versus hate and violence." This whole thing is absolutely aimed at Trump, but it's ridiculous. And we all know this. We can take a look at what it says here and know that this is completely insane and baseless. It's meant to pull on the heartstrings of conservative-leaning voters. The whole Democrat Party is based on feelings and having warm, fuzzy feelings when you vote for Kamala, feeling the joy and not letting the bad man back in. These are all feelings, okay? It's not based on anything of substance. It's not based on anything tangible like policies or records. It is all based on how you feel. And then, of course, she gets absolutely obliterated in the comments. She is getting completely decimated, okay? I'm not straight and I'm voting for Trump. Do I hate myself? Absolutely not. Messages like these are what spreads hate. Exactly. And that is exactly what Democrats and leftists are always trying to do, is stir up the hate, stir up the division. As a not straight woman, I had more under Trump. He's got my vote. And this is really what it boils down to, is that simple message of, was your life better under Trump or under Biden? Because under Biden, you're going to get more of the same for the next 4 years, because Kamala has literally said that there's no policy that she can think of that she would want to change from Biden. So you are literally going to get exactly what you've gotten from the past 4 years, only worse. Like, just look at these comments, man. Like, they're all just absolutely roasting the crap out of her. Like, all of them are. She is getting completely obliterated, man. Like, this is so bad. Like, I'm just scrolling and all I'm seeing are just more and more pro-Trump comments. This is absolutely insane. Of course, Trump's never done or said anything to harm gay Americans, and that's really what it boils down to. Whether you agree with the alphabet community stuff or not, the fact of the matter is, and these are just the cold hard facts, Trump has never done anything to actually go out of his way to try to hurt the alphabet community or something like that. So these are just more of the same baseless, nonsensical lies that we see time and time again coming from Democrats and leftists, and that's all that they can do, is lie and try to get you to vote based on feelings alone and not policies, not records, because they know that if you look at the policies and the records, it's not very good for them. So with all that being said, let me know what you think about this insanity.
I like that guy. His channel name is Josiah Rises. Josiah Rises. He's a cool dude. He makes short little videos like that. That's what he does. Good stuff. Where are we at in this lineup here? Dude, All right.
I don't know.
Look at this.
It's all about inclusion. Inclusion is supposed to be the least restrictive environment to adapt to somebody's needs. But what do you do when all the people out there that should be locked up because they're crazy are just roaming around and saying, "Oh, but you're hurting my feelings," and you're told that you can't tell them that they're crazy because it'll hurt their feelings.
We've already had
I
inclusion.
don't really care about your feelings.
We already had inclusion. It was called Gen X, right? I mean, it was called the 90s or the 80s. I mean, everything was pretty included back then. I mean, even I was just a kid in the 70s, but it seemed kind of inclusive then too. I think everybody was pretty cool with everybody up until about Barack Obama time.
Yep.
And then that's when he goes, "We're going to fundamentally transform this country." He sure did. And that's why I'm saying come back tomorrow and watch Dreams of My Real Father in there, that documentary it talks about that. Yeah, he fundamentally changed it. All right.
I was going to say, what was his motto during his campaign?
Forward or change and forward.
It was something about change.
Forward is another communist slogan as well. He basically, played on the fact that most people didn't understand what Marxism was in any way, shape, or form, because he just flaunted it. He might as well just come swinging in wearing a red suit with a sickle and hammer on it. I mean, the guy was so Marxist that you call it that, and people are like, nuh-uh, because generations of people had it, removed from their education, and it wasn't talked about. They managed to turn a serious ongoing mission to stop subversion when it first started into a Red Scare, which is, so learning about again Unrig the Game Monday, Big Intel. I love this book. Reading that book, and I have been like re-listening to chapters. So I've actually now I'm kind of technically read it twice, but learning so much more about that stuff and how it works, man. It's over the top. I forgot my point, but anyways, it's a great book. Come read it with us on Mondays. I mean, you're not going to regret it. And if you are behind, you'll catch up fast. I have a playlist on Rumble. It's a Big Intel playlist, and you can just watch you can skip right to when we start to read and just watch the chapters, and it will you'll catch up quickly, and then we can listen to it together every Monday night. We still have a good amount of weeks to go on it, so you can get caught up and do it. It's worth it, man. And if you don't want to do it with us, go buy it.
Really interesting, this one.
Go get the audio book on whatever they call it, the one that I use. What is it called? Audible. Yeah, Audible. Yeah.
There you go.
So get it there. I don't, it's not about me. It's about the content. I really want you guys to have this information. It'll make you stronger and more formidable. And it also will feel, I mean, for me, I'm learning shit, and I've learned a lot about it, but I'm learning even more stuff through this book. And I tell you what, I'd love to have this guy on the show and just to sit there and talk to him for a few hours. He's so interesting. All right. What are we gonna do next here?
Say hi to Keith.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I wanted to do. Hey, Keith, what's up? How you doing? They say inclusion. I'm pretty sure they mean we say they are bold and brave, even though it ain't that isn't reality. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, they pretty much, it's pretty much forcing us to do what they want, right? Forcing us to conform to their subversion of reality. Yeah, that's why this channel was formed, man, because we're not going to lose our reality to people like that. We're going to be winning our reality, right? We're going to do that by understanding how the game is rigged and unrigging the game. That's how we do it, right? And some of that's an immediate fix, immediate missions to get things done, and some of that's a generational fix. We talk about both here every week. All right. Let's see. I got to get to the next one so we can move on here.
Thomas said, yeah, don't bend the morals, it'll bruise. Wait, no, it went too fast. Wait, Turning said, I will not bend my morals, go up to, especially for somebody that doesn't exhibit any. And that's the thing. They're fundamentalists of liberalism. Like, they're liberal fundamentalists, liberal extremists. And that's never a good thing. They think it is, but we know better. Any kind of extremist is going to be bad, because they can't see outside their little viewfinder. They literally have blinders on. And they will just run right over anybody. Top Chat Mafia. Make sure you hit live chat instead of top chat. Otherwise, you're going to lose things and be out of sequence. Just remember. Because it does it to me all the time. Go ahead.
I had so much stuff and from good because we didn't do a show last week. I have so much stuff in good news. I'm like, oh, I love this. What's this? All right, I think we've kind of done that. Democrats strategists scared to death as Trump flips devastating poll from Kamala. And we saw that, plenty of that. We could do that on Poll Watch on that's Shelley's favorite segment on Winning 2024 Tuesday.
I
This
do love
one's
watching a good poll.
Let's see. Straight.
T-Rex is devastated that Ohio State football lost.
This is genius, guys. This is genius. Trump. This is why Trump is awesome. I mean, remember all the threats we were talking about a couple weeks back? They were threatened, or like, we're going to have to slow down the rallies. We won't be able to do as many. We need to be careful because they were going to target his plane with rocket launchers. Remember the deep state came out and said there was somebody planning that, and they have evidence of it.
Dear God.
Everything,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So Trump goes, I can fix that.
President Trump announcing Operation Aurora in Colorado, which will force the removal of illegal migrant members of the violent Venezuelan gang, TDA. This is huge news. Huge news. At the same time, we are learning that Trump is amping up his security. More threats ensue. Remember that story we broke like a week ago, where there was, they said there was missiles, like that were smuggled across the border, and the goal was to shoot
we were just
down
talking
Donald
about
Trump's
that,
plane.
Gary.
Well, it seems as though Donald Trump is taking that threat very seriously. And here is Jack Posobiec with more.
He's had to cancel. Number one, President Trump, this is the headline out of the Washington Post right now. Massive, massive article. President Trump has requested military aircraft and vehicles amid threats to his campaign. The FBI has not ruled out that Iran may be involved. We're also seeing, very deep within this, President Trump has now been traveling with additional decoy planes and dividing his motorcade at times and putting Trump in nondescript planes that do not have his name on the side instead of his longstanding 747 jet due to these security concerns. This, of course, Trump Force One. We're also hearing that that President Trump's campaign has had to cancel recent public events at the last minute due to a lack of personnel from the Secret Service, instead only putting Trump in a small room with reporters rather than a public event. Also, we're getting news from President Trump. I got this from a Trump campaign official. It's coming hot and heavy here, folks. I'm just giving it to you as I receive it. President Trump also plans to announce Operation Aurora today at his rally in Colorado. What he's doing is that he announces that he will, as president, invoke the Alien Enemies Act to deploy federal assets immediately against Tren de Aragua and migrant criminal networks operating within the United States, that he will invoke the Alien Enemies Act. This is all coming fast.
So yes, that was actually, so he's made the promise. He's made the promise that once he is in office, he is going to invoke this act. Here he is.
Oh yeah, let's go.
In honor of Jocelyn, Nungari, Lakin, Riley, beautiful Lakin, Rachel, Morin, and all of the others that are dead and or mortally wounded at the hands of migrants who should never have been allowed into our country, I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level. To expedite the removals of these savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. 1798. This was put there. 1798. That's a long time ago, right? To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Who would have ever thought that a president or a future president would ever have to stand here and say such things? Who would think that that's even possible to have to do? So many things are changed in the last 4 years, but that's the state of our country now after Kamala and Joe Biden have just absolutely destroyed our country.
So I'm going to break down what exactly Operation Aurora is and what this Alien Enemies Act stands for. But let's continue with some of the remarks still from Colorado.
10 days because in Aurora, multiple apartment complexes have been taken over by the savage Venezuela prison gang known as Tren de Aragua. Or is your law enforcement and law enforcement all over the world? They know them all over the world. They're a savage gang, one of the worst in the world. And they're getting bigger all the time because of our stupidity. They're known as TDA. TDA has killed 7 people today, sir. Last month, 6 men with armed rifles and many other men standing right outside waiting for them and handguns were caught on camera as they were forced into a situation. And they said they were forced. They weren't forced. They got their way into an apartment building. They threatened the tenants at gunpoint. These are people that never saw anything like this. These are people that never experienced criminals and crime. They burst into the building and they held tenants at gunpoint and at knife point. 10 minutes later, they opened fire on a 25-year-old man outside the building, fatally shooting him. Of the barbaric thugs who have been identified, at least 3 are illegal aliens who were in Border Patrol custody. They were in custody. By the way, 4 years ago, we had the safest border in the history of our country. Put up that sign, please. Put up my all-time favorite graph.
His lovely
Put up
chart.
my all-time-
He loves that chart.
Get that put up. That is the most beautiful graph I've ever seen.
Chart.
It's the most beautiful piece of paper I've ever seen. I take it home every night and I sleep with it and I kiss it. Oh, I kiss it. Because without that sucker, I wouldn't be here right now. So if you think about it, Mr. Pastor, great job you did, Pastor. If you think about it, illegal immigration saved my life. I'm the only one. Usually it's the opposite. It's usually the opposite. Thank you very much. But you see that arrow in the bottom? That's when I left. That's the day I left office. You had the lowest number of people coming into our country in the history, recorded history of our country. And then look what happened, like a rocket ship. And they were rough, the ones that came in. We were very, very careful. We were remain in Mexico. We checked everybody out. People came in, but then they got rough because then they said, let's do open borders. Let's let the whole world. And as soon as they did that, jails were emptied, mental institutions were emptied. And I would have done the same thing if I were in charge of any of the many countries we're talking about. 3 of these thugs were in Border Patrol custody, but were released into the United States by Kamala. Because in Aurora.
So Operation Aurora will be in full effect when he takes office.
What I wanted to get out of that piece was that he's using decoy planes. And I love the thumbnail on it because like had a bunch that looked just like the Trump plane. I know it was AI, but yeah, they had a bunch of planes, decoy planes. So that's the way they're going to confuse the people supposedly with rocket launchers that are out there.
It's
works.
bizarre that we even have to have that kind of a measure be taken. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to get out of that piece right there. That's good news for sure. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
100%.
And again, sticking with the theme of this evening. Let me speed this up so I get to the part. People. This is funny. All right. We'll leave it there. All right. Switching and realizing, that being on the side of the establishment isn't a good place to be right now.
Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party are a threat to this nation, far beyond the threat that Donald Trump poses. I can't freaking believe this. This is one of those incredible live moments that I'm sure had the network executives shitting freaking bricks. Let me show you guys exactly what happened. It's absolutely legendary. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I pretty much introduced the clip, or at least most of the context in the intro. I think we're pretty much ready to just play the clip.
A no for you after that. Why was it important for you to say no more Trump because of his January 6th conduct, and do you stand by that?
No, I don't stand by it, and I'll tell you why. I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies, and I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
So when you, I'll let you finish, but this is so striking. You said it was a no for me after that, January 6th, and here we are right now, and you're saying it's a yes for you.
It is a yes for me. It is an absolute yes for me. That is how badly
look at his lips.
The Biden-Harris team have prosecuted their job.
But the whole point you seem to be making was that January 6th and that kind of attack on democracy is bigger than any
But
policy.
I am seeing so many attacks on democracy that eclipse January 6th.
So I want to ask Sarah.
Here we are.
As you see, it's exactly. Matthew's laughing. Hold on, sorry, I clicked too much there. That's a great moment right there. Look at him.
But the whole point you seem to be making was that January 6th and that kind of attack on democracy is bigger than any policy.
I am seeing so many attacks on democracy that eclipse January 6th.
So I want to ask Sarah.
So good.
If you want to ask me what those are,
and as you see, it's exactly as I described it. And just look at the reaction. Look at Ari Melber's face. He's in complete shock. He doesn't know what to do.
What's that look right there, Shelley? What's that look right there?
That look right there. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, yeah, he's like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's probably got people in his ears yelling in the earpiece, change the subject. We're going to commercial break. We're going to commercial break.
Panic.
This is absolutely devastating, especially for a network like MSNBC. I mean, they've built this entire narrative. Everything they talk about 24/7 is the threat that Donald Trump poses. He's a threat. He's a threat. He's a threat. That's all they say over and over. And now one of their contributors, who's basically paid to go there and then parrot the talking point and say Donald Trump's a threat, says literally the exact opposite. That is so incredibly based. It reminds me of that RFK Jr. moment that took the internet by storm however many months back when we were in a different election matchup when it was Donald Trump versus Joe Biden.
But do you really believe that when people talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses, do you really think that is it equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy. And the reason for that is President Biden is the first candidate in history, the first president in history that has used the federal agencies to censor political speech, so to censor his opponent.
RFK Jr. went to the media and made the argument that Joe Biden is a greater threat to democracy than Donald Trump is. And of course, he was right, and this guy's right too. The leftist narrative has imploded. First off, because it's built on dishonest foundation, and secondly, because of their own actions. It's become clear to people that they are the exact threat that they warned Donald Trump of being. I mean, I always play that Rachel Maddow clip because I think it's just perfect for the moment, where she describes everything that Donald Trump's going to do. Oh, he's going to jail his political opponents, lawfare campaigns, weaponize the DOJ. I'm not going to play the clip again because I've played it a million times, but it's been pure projection from the start. They are the exact evil they claim the other side of being. Let's start off with lawfare and weaponization of government agencies. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the use of lawfare, the manipulation of the legal system to target political opponents, has become more prominent. While Donald Trump was sometimes aggressive in his language, his administration didn't use the FBI or DOJ to go after Biden or other rivals in the same way. He could have gone after Hillary Clinton. She objectively committed crimes, but he didn't. He practiced discretion. What does that tell you? I mean, this suggests that Trump, despite the accusations of authoritarianism, he never actually used the tools of the state to the extent that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did. They weaponized the legal system, federal agencies, and used their state-level Democrat prosecutors to go after Trump and anyone in his orbit. I don't know, seems like a pretty big threat to democracy to me. Let's talk about their views on free speech. Again, I feel like I don't need to play the clips over and over again, but we know Kamala Harris's view, and we know Tim Walz's view, which he reiterated during the debate. They don't believe in the First Amendment. That is insane. And now we have a Biden-Kamala surrogate, John Kerry, essentially making the argument that the First Amendment is essentially outdated and the government should be in the business of censoring misinformation.
Yeah, talk about again, a false paradigm. This guy ran for president, right, against George Bush. They're both fraternity brothers, right? And here he is at the World Economic Forum, right? Talking about how our stupid constitution is in the way of them getting their Agenda 2030 through.
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing.
Hope you're doing well.
And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's no, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact, they're kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go and then people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then,
what he's saying is you can't go to the establishment media doesn't have a monopoly anymore. So now we can't control what people think.
And you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have some accountability on facts, et cetera.
Oh, that he's dancing around the agenda right now. The WEF in January, so this is their primary goal of the year, and they are working very hard to make what he's talking a reality, where they can actually fact check you in real time on anything that you're saying anywhere. You know,
we want to do what we want to do, and we want you deaf, dumb, and blind to it.
Yeah, and that's not some like up the shark conspiracy theory. That's a real deal. I cover the World Economic Forum closely because they are that's the next thing after this election. We have to make sure that we have the ability to stop Agenda 2030. That starts with this election, but that's the monster rating at the gate with its tentacles already going through the bars, right? And all it's waiting for is for the establishment to solidify their power in 2024 to unlock the gate and let them on in, because by 2028 it'll be a whole different world if we don't stop them right now, and it starts with this election.
But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda, and they're putting
is this projecting much
out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just hammer it out of existence.
Yeah,
so
no, that song's
what
in my head.
What we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change. Now, obviously, there are some people in our country who are prepared to implement change in other ways, and
So
that's
you're
really
questioning
dangerous.
really if democracy can survive unregulated social media.
I think democracies are very challenged right now, and have not proven they can move fast enough or big enough to deal with the challenges that we are facing.
Therefore, you need us, your globalist masters, to take charge for you. You should do what we say.
And to me, that is part of what this race, this election is all about. Will we break the fever in the United States?
I mean, come on.
We're going to kick you guys out.
And this is the same administration that started a Ministry of Truth. We all remember that, right? Under the Department of Homeland Security. And let's, of course, not forget the Russia narrative, Steele dossier, and the Russia collusion narrative, which really was, I'd argue, the most significant manipulation of the democratic process in modern American history. The Democrat Party pushed a narrative based on false premises. They weaponized intelligence and the media apparatuses to undermine the legitimacy of Trump's first presidential win. They colluded with foreign spies to craft a bogus fake news dossier and then use that as a premise to get an illegal warrant to then spy on Donald Trump's campaign, all in an effort to paint him as a Manchurian candidate, a traitor to the nation, in an effort to get him impeached. Who's the real threat to democracy? Democrats are the real threat, and people with a
and there's people that still believe that. That's how boxed into the establishment narrative they are. I know somebody that still believes, and he still calls him Putin's puppet. He still calls Trump Putin's puppet. I mean,
they won't let go. They won't let go of it.
Some people are too dumb. And he says, oh, I'm an independent. I watch Fox News. Well, how can you? I mean, even if you were watching Fox News, you should know that that's not real. But somehow you still make it real in your mind. That's how deep the mind control can sink into some people who just can't challenge their own belief systems, cannot come to grips with the fact they've been fooled. They've been conned.
Good head on their shoulders can see it clearly, and maybe some people have been blinded by some of the hysteria and some of the events that have transpired, but eventually I guess people are coming back home and people are realizing that the Democrats and their views pose a much greater, much more significant threat to not only democracy but to your freedoms than Donald Trump ever did or ever will. The Democrats are the ones who want to stack the Supreme Court, abolish the Electoral College, give Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood so they can essentially stack the Senate. They're the ones who want to dismantle the Constitution, even though they keep accusing Donald Trump of holding that view. They're the ones who literally want to get rid of the First and Second Amendment, the two most important ones. They're the ones who every election cycle work behind the scenes to subvert the electoral process.
Precisely.
And that's not just a talking point. That's backed by the facts. The Steele dossier and the Russia narrative was their first attempt in 2016. And then, of course, we have the Twitter files for 2020. And, of course, everything else they did, which I'll refrain from going into for obvious reasons. In other words, like I said earlier, the narrative is backfiring big time. And that little moment on MSNBC, I think is pretty much a microcosm event of what's happening at large. People just aren't buying it anymore. They just don't care. And the reality of the deep hypocrisy is becoming more and more abundantly clear to so many people every single day. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Liberal Hive Mind. I've been watching Liberal Hive Mind forever. Like I said, Saturday nights, man, I usually bring out my star content creators and do analysis with their stories. And it's always usually good news. Things are going the right way kind of stories. We need that. We cover so much during the week. We have to cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. But Saturday nights is just about the good news of the week.
And Kamala's all three.
Let me see what's this right here.
She's just not good at anything we need.
Okay, I think we're into last week now, so we're good. All right. I'm going to wrap up the good news of the week right there. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I just want to let you guys know that I want you to know one thing. Funny videos. We're cooking off a rarity. This is actually a home video of when Max Muir was having his first kid, and it was time for the baby to come. So let's take a look. There he is. He's in a hurry. He's getting the car. He's hopping away, and off he goes. He's like, "What the hell?" One more time. Don't worry, honey. I got our suitcases, and yeah, they're all in there.
Like, yeah,
okay, let's go.
She's like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" Really?
Oh, Max, what will you do next?
I'd love to know how far he got before he had to turn around and go back.
Right? Oh man, we're doing some quick hits here from X. I got these here. Let's see what this is going on. Okay, here we go. This is a read along, a rare read along on this channel. Let's see. We have to get here. We're gonna see it like that, are we? We're gonna have to go like this.
Mm-hmm.
So all the people who tried. So basically, what happened is this. Shelly, why don't you do this one? You found this. Go ahead.
So the United Kingdom decided that people need to register their chickens because there's just too many people with too many chickens, and it's a problem. They want to know where the flues are and everything else. So they required their citizens to register their chickens, and they launched a website where they could do so, which the people in the UK crashed. You want to read it or should I?
You read it.
I'm only going to read like the top.
Okay.
So this went out on Twitter. So all the people who tried to register their roast chickens from Tesco, which is like their Acme, has managed to crash the DEFRA website, and now it's not working. It's not big or clever. Stop sniggering. So yeah. So people got pissed off. They're like, how dare you make me do this? All right, you want us to register chickens? They all registered their dinner and everything else, and they crashed the entire website.
They're registering chickens. It's not funny, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Just Don, how you doing?
I can't do. No, but I love that puppet.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious when I read that. Wait, did I just see? Oh, hello, Just Dawn. One of my favorite redheads on the planet. How you doing, sexy mama? What's up? All right, go ahead. I had to get that out of my system. I don't see her often. And now he's not there.
I'm here.
Stop being quiet. All
Speaking
right.
of not being quiet, let's see. Always with the segues.
Mm-hmm.
Look who's in the news.
Oh, Jesus Christ, amor.
New Jersey is home to the Giants and Jets, Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi, and both and the Sopranos.
Ashamed.
It's also home to a unique law that won't seem to go away.
Yeah, you can't pump your own gas in Jersey.
New Jersey is the only state in the U.S. that doesn't allow customers to pump their own gas anywhere. Instead, there's always an attendant on duty to pump gas for customers at these full-service stations.
I mean, the full service is nice. You have somebody come in, take care of you, and do that. I mean, the self-service is, you don't have to wait and jump out of your car.
If it means that their jobs are getting taken away, no. But if, let's say, in that self-service, they also have a job, like in helping out the customer.
Well, being an old dude, 6 years old, I like full service. I really do.
Oh, stop bitching. You don't have to get out in the snow, the rain, nothing.
It has become a sense of pride and convenience for many residents, but some gas station owners and politicians want to change that.
The history of all self-service gas stations.
Oregon is the
There you
only other state besides New Jersey
interesting
with a
videos
full
right
service
now.
law. Oregon's laws are far less strict, with certain parts of the state allowing self-service. Gas stations having attendants pump gas was popular in the first half of the 1900s. By the 70s, most states had switched over to customers pumping their own gas. But a state ban on self-service in 1949, known as the Retail Gasoline Dispensing Safety Act, stopped the Garden State from transitioning, and Oregon followed up with their own in 1951. Fast forward several decades to today, and there were almost 19,000 service attendants in the U.S. last year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Their average wage was around New Jersey's state minimum wage, which is $13 an hour. Over the past few decades, New Jersey state lawmakers have proposed several bills to allow self-service gas stations in some capacity.
Get to the good part.
All of them have failed.
It goes back to the middle of the 20th century, where there were forces involved who wanted to protect, their interests in terms of the smaller gas station owners against mega gas stations that were starting to be built at the time that would require self-service to be profitable.
The latest bill, called the Motorist Fueling Choice and Convenience Act, is now being backed by several gas station owners. It would allow all gas stations to offer self-service, but it needed the support of Senate President Nicholas Gattari, who opposed it. Now it's stalled in the legislature. Unlike many political issues, this debate isn't partisan. The potential controversy and political impact have made some state politicians remain neutral on the topic, including Governor Phil Murphy, who describes it as a political third rail. In fact, a Monmouth poll found the only big division on self-service gas stations is among gender.
One of the sayings that we have here in the state is that Jersey girls don't pump gas. And one of the things that we find in our poll.
There you go. That's the part I wanted to get to. All right.
Except I do. And I have since I could reach the pump. God.
She's the only Jersey girl that pumps gas. All right.
Well, I'm a girl.
We talked about this earlier.
I have many skills.
Yes, she does. All right. We talked about this earlier.
It's been over 3 years. Our democracy, it died that day. But the Babylon Bee put together a team that would avenge our democracy, to help us never forget to. Remember.
Jewish space laser, dodge! Phantoms on!
Quick follow-up question. Why are you evil?
Shame! I love Trump. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
We're going to watch that.
Did Trump supporters break the spotted plant?
You just did that. January 6th, the most deadliest day. Streaming exclusively on BabylonBee.com.
I'll have to see
Okay,
that.
Tim, time to take the stage, buddy. I'll be in your ear the whole time. You got this. Go get him. All right, Tim, shake his hand. Oop, he kind of pulled you in there like Trump does. That is sort of a boss move. Oh, Vance is going to shake the hands of the moderators. Tim, just stand at the podium by yourself. Fold your hands in front of your crotch. Big smile. You're off to a pretty good start.
Hi, I'm Tim Walz's debate coach. I not only prepared Tim for the debate, but during the debate, I was hiding backstage giving Tim instructions right into his earpiece, telling him what to say and what to do with his body language so Tim could perform better than ever.
Okay, Tim, she's going to throw the first question your way. With your answer, just be clear and precise.
So I've become friends with school shooters.
Well done, Tim. Hit a home run right there. Okay, Tim, the next question she's going to ask you is about the polls supporting mass deportation. Now, remember, you've been instructed to be against mass deportation, so you got to come through strong on this. Go.
Look,
We fix this issue with a bill that is necessary. But the issue on this is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this.
Now, because you're making this up as you go, let's get some big exaggerated hand movements in there, kind of like you're pleading with people to believe you.
I will create stories to bring attention to this.
Perfect. You're looking strong as always, Tim. Now, to be more relatable, let's get some shoulder shrugging going to let people know you're insecure with what you're saying.
That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield.
This is your best work, Tim. Now let's open your eyes super wide like you're terrified.
State law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school.
That's fantastic. Now we're going to have to land the plane now, Tim. So bring it home by holding intense eye contact with the moderators. Let your eyes dart up and to the left, and then stop speaking abruptly and look immediately at Vance like you're trying to get his approval because he's the alpha male in the room.
It becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point like this, we dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Crushed it.
Look, Morgan, first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job. I've been to the southern border more than our borders are.
Kamala Harris said that. Tim, just look down nervously and then back at him like you're scared.
To do their job. Of course, additional
Good. Just won back a lot of votes right there, sport.
And the vice president empowering our
Okay, now erratically look down. Good, and wrinkle that forehead like you're worried. Now in a second, quick and erratically turn your head back at Vance. But Tim, it's got to be abrupt and awkward. Good, that went well. Now let's bring that scared face back with wrinkles in your forehead. That comes across super well. Quick, look down and draw a penis on your notepad.
Hospitals that are overwhelmed.
Now back to Vance. That's enough. Look back down and draw the testicles in now. Look back to Vance, but look like you have to poop. Shuffle your feet nervously. No, look back to Vance. Do not look at the moderators. They can't help you, Tim. Look down again. He was looking at you. It's close.
I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
And you're doing great, buddy.
But I didn't accuse Kamala Harris of inviting drug mules. I said that she enabled the Mexican
just
drug
nod your head in
cartels
agreement
to
with
operate
Vance.
freely in this country. And we know that they use children as drug mules, and it is a disgrace, and it has to stop.
It is not easy to make an unlikable guy look so likable. But with Tim, I think I was able to make him look like he was really trying. So the debate, great success.
He's
Tim knocked
trying
it out
my
of the park.
nerve.
They're going to do some back-to-backs with all JP tonight.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
That's a Black Hawk helicopter destroying a supply zone in North Carolina. So federal rescue efforts continue to go well.
All right, hold on. I'm sure he's just kidding, but I know I got people out there that know better than me. Is this a Black Hawk helicopter?
There it was, yeah.
That's a Black Hawk helicopter destroying a supply zone in North Carolina. So federal rescue efforts continue to go well.
He is so good.
Good evening and welcome to We Lie to You News. Our top stories tonight. Hurricanes, more hurricanes. Kamala doesn't know how to work a shovel. Kamala does know how to work a sex podcast and more. But starting with Trump. According to us, Trump took a break from his daily insurrections to return to Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was shot just 3 months ago. He began his rally by picking up right where he left off when he got shot.
As I was saying,
Perfect, right? That's what we all wanted to see.
You probably shouldn't cover that. Meanwhile, Kamala appeared on a sex podcast.
I have made a guy under a minute.
Yep, that's the one. And she made the selfless sacrifice of taping it while North Carolina was being devastated by Hurricane Helene. Roll the footage, Jim.
Your show is really about your listeners. And I think especially now, this is a moment in the country and in life where people really want to know they're seen and heard and that they're part of a community.
Everything's gone. It's all gone.
And so I'm really glad to be with you.
As the Biden administration has stated, they have no more aid to give North Carolina residents who are still suffering from a biblical level catastrophe. But Kamala tweeted this on October 5th. $157 million in aid to Lebanon to provide aid for essential needs like food, shelter, water, protection, and sanitation. Madam Vice President, is there anyone or anything involving U.S. citizens that you think could use that very form of aid right now?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Didn't think it would. And now the candidate who posed for a picture with a black lady and falsely claimed in her book that it was her grandmother is set to go on the Howard Stern show, where Howard Stern is scheduled to lose even more votes for her. Jim, who do you think is more of a woman, Howard or Kamala? I'll take Howard Stern for 500, Alex. As Hurricane Milton ravages Florida, FEMA is expected to perform better because there aren't rich supplies of lithium and quartz crystal in the ground there. And Governor DeSantis pushed back at Kamala trying to get involved with Hurricane Milton for seemingly political reasons. Here's Big Ron pushing back.
And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this.
In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts.
Sounds like the Big D really values Kamala's help that she's only willing to offer in the weeks leading up to an election.
I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line.
Well, he sounds pretty racist to me, but what we want to know is, why is Governor DeSantis worried about people's lives when there's a sex podcast he could be going on? The official report is that Governor DeSantis is selfish. We kill a lot of trees for this show, ladies and gentlemen, but luckily, Kama took a break from not knowing how to do anything to not know how to use a shovel. Take a look. And in an effort to stop herself from plummeting in the polls further, Kamala sat down with our senior controlled opposition correspondent to explain why she thinks it is that a quarter of voters don't know what she's about.
A quarter of registered voters still say they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. And why do you think that is? What's the disconnect?
It's an election bill. And I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote. This is an election for president of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it. And that's what I intend to do.
She handles words the same way she handles a shovel. Now let's see what happens when she's mildly pressed about the border.
Your administration, as a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
When you think about it, one solution to a fire is to pour gas on it and court order the fire department to abandon the scene anytime they arrive.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay.
Quadrupling the size of a problem that you're trying to fix certainly doesn't sound like the promoting of a problem. It just sounds like making the problem worse the more you try to fix it, which almost makes it sound like you're either terrible at what you do or you're a liar, but maybe both. Let's see how good she is with a shovel one more time for the people in back. Roll the footage, Jim. Could someone please take that shovel from her so she doesn't have to put it down herself? Thank you. She comes from a middle-class family, for God's sakes. Now, if you don't know how to operate a shovel, then you certainly know how to operate a country. These are the facts. That's it for today's news. Hurricane victims can have all their worries washed away, along with their homes, knowing Kamala is sending hundreds of millions of dollars to foreign countries. And Trump might get up and pick up where he left off after getting shot, but at least Kamala can drop like a fly when a question is thrown her way. She has a great mind.
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Brilliant mind, actually. Good night. Lately, we've all been...
Oh, God, her mother should have swallowed. Just saying. Everything happens for a reason. I keep repeating it. Everything happens for a reason.
Hey, is that the food and water for the victims? Give me that. Hey, I'm with FEMA here to help with hurricane rescue efforts. Yeah, FEMA, we're very prepared for hurricane season, which means we spent all the money for hurricane rescue efforts on making illegal border crossings as comfortable as possible. It's good to be prepared. Yeah, we can't really do anything for you, but if you want to go to Mexico and walk across the border, we can help you out there. Yeah, we use all our funds to basically reward illegals for crossing the border, teach them not to do it. Yeah. Watching your kind of thing. Yeah, what little rescuing we are able to implement, we distribute as such based on equity. What? Oh, your baby got swept down a well? Oh, you need help. Well, is your baby trans? No. Sorry, our hands are tied here. Yeah, FEMA is an important federal agency. FEMA stands for Federal Aviation, Emancipation, Evacuation, Forensics, Wrestling Federation, Emergency Association. There's a lot of lithium in the ground here, huh? Yeah, we thought this would be the first year without hurricanes. Here in North Carolina, one of the biggest crises that FEMA is facing is an epidemic of citizens trying to help other citizens in need. Kind of ruins everything, doesn't it? Hey, do not pull him from the debris. I know he's being crushed. What's your point? Excuse me, sir. I will literally have you arrested if you use that food to feed people. You take that food to the border where it belongs. A lot of private helicopters out there trying to rescue people today, huh? Do we have any rocket launchers? Oh, well, you got supplies on that truck or something? Yeah, well, road's completely blocked. Sorry, I can't get through. Well, FEMA's official stance is this road is completely blocked, as you can hear based on what I'm telling you to see. I'm going to need you to just pull over right there so we can confiscate your supplies and destroy them. Hey, Nigel, I'm going to need you to burn those pallets of food. FEMA wants to do more, but shucks, we ran out of funding.
I heard FEMA sitting on $7 billion is trying to hide.
Turn that camera off, boy. Where to put the Starlink from Elon and Trump? Yeah, at the base of the mountain, you'll find a lake. To put it right at the bottom of that. How do you deal with drowning people? Oh. How does anyone deal with anything, really? Go back to the mountains. They're all disgusting and dirty. Do bodies really have to be recovered? I mean, they're already in the ground. Madam Vice President, Hurricane Milton has destroyed Florida. Yeah, that's a sex podcast. We did it. Yeah, well, it looks worse than ever here. You're going to be the next president. No need for compliments, man. We're just doing our jobs. Man, hurricanes love red states, don't they? Yeah, so what happened? 1,000 bodies were washed into a lake during a flash flood. Got on the phone with North Carolina Governor Cooper immediately to coordinate efforts. So we formed a quick action plan to restock the lake with fish because it has more water in it now. People that say FEMA doesn't care are just spreading false information. Here's how much we care. We're giving people $750. That's almost a fraction of what each individual has paid us in taxes. What these hurricane victims need more than anything is food, water, and shelter. With everything shut down, there's nowhere to buy those things. So yeah, we think that money will be extremely helpful. Yeah, as it turns out, private rescue efforts are actually interfering with our lack of rescue efforts. So we diverted all remaining manpower to impose more bureaucracy on those rescue efforts. Now, keep things orderly. We're kind of doing Maui 2.0 here. Hey, can we get one of those private helicopters to fly me to Charlotte? I want to get a massage.
Let me ask you a question.
God, and satire is actually the truth now. It's just because they don't even try to pretend they're doing something else. God, what else you got? What else you got? I enjoy JP.
Yeah, he's funny.
I really do. He wasn't my cup of tea in the beginning. Because I don't know, I still clung to those like, oh, you're just making fun of it. But
oh no, you landed on Boardwalk. Ooh, looks like you owe me $1,200.
Oh no! If Bill goes bankrupt, we're all gonna fall like dominoes.
Wait, guys, I got it. If we all pool our resources into one big pot, he'll be able to pay off his debt, and we'll all be able to split the money when Joe lands on our collectively owned property. It's a long shot, but if Bill passes go and gets 200 and lands on a decent property right now, we'll have enough money to be back in this thing.
Hey, you can't own property as a group.
Yeah, but I don't see anything in the rulebook that says we can't change property every turn. Let's do it.
Right?
Here you go. Hope you guys trust each other.
And since I rolled doubles, time to go again. Come on. Please be my lucky roll. Yes!
No!
Yes, it's ours! It's all ours!
Finally!
No longer will he oppress and exploit us. Have you lost your minds?
Have we lost our minds? We toil day in and day out for the spoils to go to one man, for everything we've worked for to be taken from us.
You killed him!
He was killing us! Can't you see?
It's just a game!
Just a game?
That's what you theocratic reactionaries always say, isn't it? There's some other world outside of this one where things will be set right. Nonsense! Are you serious?
We must control our destiny, here and now. All of the property belongs to the masses now.
As it is meant to be.
Yes!
Oh,
let's all celebrate! Finally, we made...
$1,200?
Huh?
That's $1,200. You landed on our property. You owe the community $1,200.
But I don't have enough.
Are you trying to sabotage the party?
No!
Park Avenue is no longer open for non-high-ranking party members. Now roll the dice. I landed on the train tracks. I own them. The train tracks are public property. What? You owe $250. But I only have $80 left. No, we have $80 left.
I put a bag over the dog's head.
It's the police.
Yes?
You are hereby under investigation for your association with your husband, Paul,
Hey,
a well-known enemy of the proletariat and the party.
No! Oh my gosh, no!
Do you renounce him?
My husband?
Do you renounce him, or will the party need to execute him?
No! Please, no!
sign this form. Good, good. You are a worthy citizen. Your children will thank you. Paul, we know you're guilty of high crimes against the state. It's not true. Then why did your wife sign this document renouncing you? No, Bob, no. I don't believe it. Even your family sees that you're a criminal. Why don't you confess? Or we'll have to find the real criminal. Perhaps someone else who resides in your home. You're trying to kill me, aren't you? What? Oh, you're plotting to kill me! Oh, I am so sick of this crap! If you're gonna kill me, just do it!
No, don't leave me alone.
I am a martyr for my people.
Holy
It's
crap.
been 2 years since the 6th Street Massacre, where a police officer murdered the peaceful leader of a communist autonomous zone. The officer was sentenced to life in prison earlier today.
Well, sentencing is an outrage. That police officer shot a man who just killed his friends over a game of Monopoly.
That's fascist revisionism! They were plotting to murder him! He had signed confessions! Ugh, so like the United States to go and sabotage a functioning communist government.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it depends. I'm like down, but you're distracting people who are trying to play. Lucky for them, there's Hollow. Hollow's the #1 Christian prayer app in the U.S. and the #1.
All right.
Last Tuesday, I was sitting around after dinner, wondering why my family seemed to be paused, when my dad blurted out, "Well, what should we do?" "I think we should play a game." "Okay, like what?" "How about Monopoly?" I don't like that either." "I like Monopoly. It's my favorite game." No. I began to wonder if anyone played Monopoly anymore. How is it possible that no one enjoys this classic?
I love Monopoly.
And then it dawned on me. Elizabeth McGee grew up in the Gilded Age, and after seeing robber barons get richer and the rest of America struggle to get by, she decided to invent a board game to educate people on how big business and monopolies are bad. She called it the Landlord's Game, and it was tremendously popular all across America. There were different game modes. You could play as anti-monopoly or monopolist. The second, of course, was the game everyone played. It was not uncommon for people to make their own boards, and in the early 1930s, the Quakers of Atlantic City changed the names to match their local destinations. A few years later, Charles Darrow was at a dinner party with a few friends, found out about the game, and made his own board, eventually selling it to Parker Brothers, who would go on to be bought by Hasbro in 1991. Anyway, arguably Monopoly's greatest success came from being a capitalist game during the Cold War. It was a time of great prosperity for Americans, and the game greatly echoed that. But now, people's views are changing. Perhaps playing Monopoly hits a little too close to home with the current businesses and politics of America. A game that during the Great Depression was considered a break from reality is now a hyperactive extension of it. This new wave of capitalist rejection might cause people to hate the game that was once on their side. So in honor of destroying the system, it's time to make Socialist Monopoly. So as it turns out, Socialist Monopoly is already a thing.
Oh my god.
So I bought one on Amazon. It runs with the tagline, "Winning is for capitalists." I'm just going to cut to the chase here. This game exists purely to make fun of socialism, which I think is a bit of a chuckle considering our knowledge of the history of Monopoly. It really comes full circle. In 1903, when Lizzie McGee, an individual, first invented the game, it was about teaching people the perils of monopolies and capitalism. And now we have Hasbro, which is kind of a monopoly, making a game about why socialism is bad. And it's not that I'm against making fun of socialism, I just think that it's kind of ironic to say the least. There's also a really big part of me that thinks, why stop at socialism? Like, I just feel that the idea could have gone a lot farther.
Oh my god.
There it is. Ready? I'm ready. Okay, so
Holy crap.
of course there's the box, which is gray. It's very nice gray. Thank you. I I picked it from the wall of colors. Well, that statement is factually true. I'm such an idiot. I should have just said it was one of the 50 Shades. Anyway, communist monopoly is very similar to normal monopoly, except for a few key changes. The first thing you'll probably notice is that the board only features state property, which makes sense because communism. Electric company and waterworks are replaced by nuclear power plant and wheat field. Chance and community chests are replaced by rebellion and rations. Every time you pass go, you only receive $2. In fact, this game only uses $1 bills because in communism, there is no inflation. Free parking has been replaced by corruption. Should you land on this spot, you get to check another player's rebellion cards. They will either be an enemy of the state and therefore sent to the gulag, or they will display a nothing to see here card, which gets them off free. In order for this to work, you have to keep all your rations and rebellion cards, unless they explicitly state that you must play them immediately. And last but not least, the jail is replaced by the gulag, with a matching style go to jail spot. But wait, there's more. My absolute favorite spot, go back 8 spaces, takes you guessed it, straight back to the gulag. The gulag is very similar to normal Monopoly jail, except there is no 3-turn rule, implying that you could literally be there forever. The game ends when there is only one player left on the board, due to everyone else finding the meaning of life or mysteriously disappearing.
Oh, shit.
5. Oh, I met you on the corruption square.
Why is everything bad? You don't have a single good thing.
There's not a single good thing.
You have.
I'm done. The game's over. And just like that, the game was over, so we decided to play again. This time, the game's creator will go first, because you obviously ruined everything. Here.
Because I obviously what?
Ruined everything.
You were the one who died.
Okay, let's not. Upon second playing, we realized just how boring this game is. Like, there's genuinely nothing that happens. You just go around the board waiting for someone to mysteriously disappear, going from state property to state property, which is exactly how I intended this game to be. A lot of what communism is about is removing greed and material objects from normal life, forcing you to focus on what's truly important, which, if I'm being honest, I feel like I perfectly executed here. I've made something so boring that it forced Max and I to focus on life's truly important things, like art, science, and the meaning of love. So the next time you're about to call someone a commie bastard, maybe hear them out. Because communism is actually hella dope.
You're both under arrest for treason and whatever else. No, you
Oh my God, when we get the music.
I'm sure I'm gonna get copyrighted for that song. God damn it.
I mean, I did say something.
Parodies
It was too
shortly.
loud. I couldn't hear it. All right. Well, I'll just have to cut it out. Dang it.
Now it's time for
Oh, I
Lefties
love
Losing
her.
It. We'll be bringing you some superb Harris Walls parodies shortly. But let's start, Lefties, with some unintentional laughs, courtesy of rock legend Bruce
Ugh.
Springsteen. No,
God.
this is not Pink or Tilda Swinton. It is actually the boss. And like,
You know who he looks like? He looks like the guy from Peacemaker. Peacemaker's dad, the racist white dragon.
Oh
supervillain.
yeah. The guy that played the cop in Terminator 2.
There you go.
like all out of touch celebs, he has a message for America. I just hope his shirt is buttoned up here.
I'm supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president, and opposing Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
What an
Now, I'm
idiot.
sure old
Look, ladies and gentlemen, never listen to what a musician says. Never, especially if they're trying to tell you shit like that, man. They don't. That working professional musician like that, they don't have time to pay attention to anything, and their world is very much different from what you would imagine. They have no business telling anybody what to do with politics at all, ever. And if they do, they really don't understand the business that they're in, because they just lost half their audience.
old mate Bruce, given
No,
his advanced
Count,
years,
he's
will
in
not resort to
Jersey.
hysteria and hyperbole to scare the American public about a second Trump term. Surely he's better than
Central
that.
Jersey, though.
Sadly, not.
Donald Trump is the most dangerous candidate for president in my lifetime. His disdain for the sanctity of our Constitution, the sanctity of democracy, the sanctity of the rule of law,
Why would anybody listen
You
to
are
him?
and the
so full of
sanctity of the
shit.
peaceful transfer of power should disqualify him from the
You
office of
mumbling
president
fuck.
ever again. He doesn't understand the meaning of this country,
Just
its
go play
history,
bad
and what it
songs
means
somewhere.
to be deeply American. On the other hand, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are committed to a vision of this country that respects and includes everyone.
Yes, everyone, particularly the more
Never
than 10
listen to
million
somebody who
illegal
keeps their
immigrants
jaw
they've let into the
clenched while they
country, and they
talk.
want to fast track to citizenship. If you believe Bruce's crazy rant, then you probably think that Kamala Harris had nothing to do with the past 3.5 years of the Biden-Harris administration. But thankfully, President Joe Biden, remember him, made sure to remind the American public that she owns every failure. She was critical to all the key decisions that were made.
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're
Thank
singing
you,
from the
Andy.
same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She was a major player in everything we've done, including passage of legislation which we were.
There you
told
go.
to
$1
never
million
pass.
idea,
And
Thomas.
so she's been
Get on
and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're doing.
Thank you, President Biden. It's worth noting that he blindsided the Harris campaign by going into the White House briefing room to deliver those remarks. And it's the first time in his presidency that he's done that. So I think we know what he's thinking right now. Now, let's have some laughs. And I've got to say, the Saturday Night Live crew have been bringing...
Thomas has kicked around a good idea. We could redo board games. Like turn the game of life into the game of indoctrination. Like
Oh
woke
my
indoctrination.
the laughs lately.
No
and the
pink
parody
or
of the
blue
Vice
kids. They're all
presidential
like,
debate had some golden
rainbow
moments. This is champagne. You know what this skit needs is some Joe Biden. And Dana Carvey's Biden is very good. Kamala has been missing in action for most of the week as parts of the US were plunged into crisis in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, which has left more than 200 dead, many more missing, and parts of the country looking like a war zone. But the VP had other things on her mind, like doing a podcast with the Call Her Daddy team. Oh, you don't know who they are? Let me familiarize you with their work, and apologies in advance for the content here.
How do you work with the and the
Okay,
on
so
man?
The it really depends on the guy. Like
It
some
does.
guys don't like it.
Yeah.
Some have and you can on them,
Yes.
put them all.
Yeah.
Like some
Other
guys
are like,
yeah, whenever
Yeah.
you try to do it.
That's all we could play you. That's all we could play you because it was that filthy. That's who Kamala Harris wants to talk to, putting decency back in the White House, folks. Let's look at some of that chat. Mercifully, it wasn't as graphic as what we just played you. In fact, the whole thing seemed to be about, I don't know, the patriarchy and obsessions about abortion.
I want to take a moment, and can we try to
Zach,
think of
without
any
a
law
K.
that gives the government the power
Hi,
to
honey.
make a decision? I know what you're going to ask about a man's body.
No.
Is there any law?
No. It's no.
Yeah, except the millions of men who've been drafted into war, forced to put their body on the line for their country. Did they forget about that? And plenty
yeah,
more
there's that
lefties
thing.
with my next guest. Let's now hear from
Zach,
White
what's
House Press
up?
Secretary
How
Karine
you doing,
Jean-Pierre
man?
claiming that
There you are. There
FEMA
you are.
funds desperately needed for Hurricane Helene victims right now weren't diverted to illegal immigrants at any point. She categorically denied that. She said it was categorically false, only it's not. Let's go to the tape.
It's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Funding is also available through FEMA's Emergency Food and Shelter Program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
Let's bring in Alex Stein, now host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, tell me what is happening with efforts to help Hurricane Helene victims. Do we even know right now how many victims there are, how many have died, how many are still missing, how many are without vital resources?
Well, all the numbers are very unclear. And Glenn Beck, one of the top broadcasters at the Blaze, he's actually on the ground right now helping people. And even FEMA is stopping Glenn Beck and his charity Mercury One from providing supplies for those that need it the most. So something weird is going on. The conspiracy theorist in me thinks that they don't want them to be able to vote. But I don't know. I don't understand why FEMA spent all of our resources on helping illegal immigrants when American citizens lost everything they've owned their whole entire life, and they try to give them a $750 check. It just shows you how incompetent here we are in America.
I think it's absolutely disgraceful what's happening. And we saw it in Hawaii as well when we had those devastating fires. The response, the victims seem to be really forgotten. And it's happening again. It seems like they're diverted by other things rather than helping their citizens, which should be the number one priority of any administration. And
All right, cool. I just wanted to get to the front of that one. There's a little bit of interview there at the end. Those clips are hilarious. All right. And
I love the way she puts things.
Right? That was. That was funny videos.
Alrighty.
Oh, so what should we do now? Oh yeah. Well, I said I would play a few of my new rewritten songs. Not rewritten; they're still the same lyrics. Old songs I have now put to new music. And these are all songs that I've written at some point in when I was in music, and I've got a new band, and so we put new songs together. The name of my new band is Winning Suno, and and we actually have our first music video out tonight. You might have seen it to our one of our dance songs. You may have seen it over in the Rumble trailer, and we'll start with that one.
Dance for me, baby. That look in your eye when you dance for me, baby. I can't deny when you dance for me, baby. Dance for me, baby. Dance for me, baby. Dance, dance for me, baby. Dance, 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 dance. If I take you home tonight, would you crash with me, baby? If I take you there, would you crash with me, baby? If I drive you crazy, would you crash with me, baby? Baby, crash with me, baby. Crash, crash, crash with me, baby. Crash, crash, crash with me, baby. Crash, crash, crash with me, baby. Crash, crash.
How
Actually, the
dare
lo-
you, Zach? That was
Uh-oh.
lovely, honey. That was a big surprise. Thank you. That was cute. Zach said T-Rex has better boobs than Shelly. Papangula sarda mama de la quita mort.
I will actually there's a longer version of that song, but that's pretty much good enough to listen to. I think that's pretty much it. I think it's like maybe like 10 seconds longer or something. I don't know.
I like that one.
Yeah. That's called Dance for Me. That's called Dance for Me, Baby. All right, so there you go.
You got a super chat. Don't forget.
Oh yeah. Super chat.
Oh my!
Cards didn't go well. Don't expect me super chats. Thanks for the $2, Zach. I appreciate it. It's the thought that counts, man. Thank you so much for helping support the channel. I really do appreciate it. All right. This next song is I wrote these just like I had them on notepads and I had them on Word docs, and I still have like a ton more somewhere. I don't know where they are. I think I've put together like I've redone like I don't know 20 songs or something now. I mean, there's so many songs. When you write songs, you're in music and you're writing songs. A lot of times you just write songs that come to you whenever they come to your head, and they may never get played. It's just a song that you hear it, you can hear it, nobody else can hear it, right? And so you put it together, and you say, well, maybe one day the right group of people, whatever right situation, you'll pull it out and you'll have a song, right? Well, since I met this band, my new band Suno, this band can do anything. So now I pull out lyrics. They always want to play it. There's never any pushback about the song, right? Then they seem to always get what I'm going for. So now I get to just be a songwriter and sit back and enjoy it. But this is one from way back. It's called
Libby. I think Who's on the Left is Nerd. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna try to mix this up just right. Because there's like a couple different versions we played, and I like this intro part. I haven't mixed them together yet, so I like the intro part. But it's one that I wrote a long time ago, and it's called "We All Get Laid on Friday Night."
I like this one.
On your spine reveals the truth, pain that lingers on from you. Director guided wicked drama, can't replace the love from mama. History pulls away the curtain, now they all have seen for certain. Controlling, spinning petty games, limited reach for shifting blame. Cocaine knows jobs sound great. Pile the crap high on your plate. Watch the night turn to day. You can't have the sleep you crave. Throw stars and dynamite. Bring it on, do it right. It's a party, dim the lights. We all get laid on Friday nights. Owner's fight reveals the truth. Pain that lingers on from you. Director guided wicked drama, can't replace the love from mama. History pulls away the curtain, now they all have seen for certain. Controlling, spinning petty games, limited reach for shifting blame. Cocaine knows job sounding great. Pile the crap high on your plate. Watch the night turn to day. You can't have the sleep you crave. Throw stars and dynamite. Bring it on, do it right. It's a party, dim the lights. We all get laid on Friday nights. We all get laid on Friday nights.
Ah, in a perfect world.
Cocaine knows job sounding great. Pile the crap high on your plate.
Night
Watch
Hey,
the
Cal.
night
Thanks for coming
turn
out.
Today, you can't have the sleep
Sleep
you
well.
crave. Those stars and dynamite. Bring it on, do it right. It's a party, dim the lights. We all get laid on Friday nights. We all get laid on Friday nights. We all get laid on Friday nights.
I think that was the
my
right
luck.
one.
It's Saturday.
Oh man, here's a short dance number called "All the Small Things Go Away."
That was short.
When dreams become what's real for us, you're either on or off the bus. No more lines drawn in the sand. Let's take it as we planned. There's no need to worry today. All the small things go away in their own time. No need to worry today. All the small things go away in their own time. Cast your fears out to the sea. It's not as hard as it may seem. Let the past just fade to gray. We'll find a better way. When the doubts crowd up your mind, just leave those heavy thoughts behind. Trust the journey we're about to make. Feel the earth beneath the shake. There's no need to worry today. All the small things go away in their own time. There's no need to worry today. All the small things go away in their own time.
Nice.
Your little dance number right there. Again,
Mhm.
all
Taking
original
my boot.
lyrics. All original lyrics from across a long, long career, written in many different places at many different times.
Hey, Lex.
Lex, what's up? How you doing? Just in time for the dance party. What's going on? I'm running a few people off, but you know that's how it goes. It's been about 3.5 hours. We gotta get out of here. So I'll tell you what. We're gonna play you out with another song here, and then we're gonna hit on out of here. So this is the closing jam of the night tonight. The house band is Winning Suno, and that's my new band.
It sounds Japanese.
It does. Max is our manager.
There you go.
That's what it is. All right, so we're gonna head on out. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Listen to this new song. It's a new old song. Come and join the party. See if you can figure out what it's about, and I will catch you next time. Thank you guys so much, and remember to stay based, get active, to vote, and to keep on winning.
Come and join the party. Really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the band. Come and join the party. Really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the band. Taking lots of places, promise you no fun. Everyone around you has probably got a gun. Go and grab your bags and meet us over there. If you do just what we say, you'll be a millionaire. And they said, come and join the party. Really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the band. Come and join the party. Really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the band. Searching for a treasure I was sure that I would find. Packed my life into a box off exit 89. Leaving from Atlanta, everything seemed fine. On our way to Memphis, when I knew I lost my mind. Come and join the party, really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the bed. Come and join the party, really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the bed. Taking lots of places, promise you no fun. Everyone around you has probably got a gun. Go and grab your bags and meet us over there. If you do just what we say, you'll be a millionaire. And they said, searching for a treasure I was sure that I would find. Packed my life into a box off exit 89. Leaving from Atlanta, everything seemed fine. On our way to Memphis, when I knew I lost my mind. Come and join the party, really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the bed. Come and join the party, really glad to meet ya. Get into the van, now you're in the bed.
This is a friendship that